Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome to Season 2 of the VML. My name's Hai, and I'm joined today by the mightiest of linguinis, Caroline. What's up, Caroline?
Hello. Hi. Did you ask me how it was?
I did ask you how you were.
I'm great. I'm definitely super great.
How's your quarantine holding up?
Another week passed. No going outside. Actually, that's not true. I went to 7-Eleven this week. I scooted down. It was fun.
Oh,
it was the highlight of my week, really, if you think about it.
Wow. I think you mean it was the second highlight of your week because, of course, this is the highlight of your week, Caroline.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the other thing I did this week was the highlight of my week.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, Caroline was on E-League this week. Battling out.
Yeah, I was battling against some really awesome people, including another VML competitor, Mythic Michaela, which was pretty sweet.
Yeah. And we might even get to see a little bit of Mythic Michaela in action later on. So, welcome to Season 2 of the VML. We finished Season 1 a couple of months ago, and now we're back better than ever, bigger and better than ever. For those of you who don't know, VML is a Magic Arena online league for women and non-binary players in the Magic community. We are playing every week. That we have 32 players this season, and everyone's very neatly split into 4 divisions of 8. Everyone in each division is playing against each other for 7 weeks in a round-robin style league. And then at the end of that, I believe we cut to top 12, and then there will be playoffs. This season, we have a pretty sickening prize pool. So there are pretty high stakes this time, Caroline.
Wait, there weren't high stakes last time? I thought we were all playing for the crown on our name, which you'll see slightly in a moment.
We are definitely playing for the crown on the head, but also this season our prize pool is currently at about $460, I believe, dollars or so, maybe even more. And of course, any donations that we receive, any sub revenue, any bits, etc. on Twitch will all go towards the prize pool. So at the end of the league, we are going to be paying out quite a substantial amount of money to the winners. I believe the winner is going to get 40% of the total prize pool, and then everyone in the top 8 will be winning a little something.
It's funny, you're talking about the finals like 8 weeks from now, and the last time we did this, similar things. We were talking about we do 8 weeks, and then we get to 2 weeks of playoffs, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's far away. And then the last season just flew by. Like, we're starting Season 2 already. That's insane to me.
It's unbelievable. And I think it's pretty cool that, last season we kind of threw this little league together, and week after week, it became bigger, became better. We had the stream, obviously, Phoebe doing that awesome thing. And now here's Season 2, and we have our lovely faces. So just to explain to everybody a little bit about the broadcast. Every single Friday, we are going to be on at this time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and
7 p.m. Mountain.
7 p.m. Mountain.
Thank you very much.
And 8 p.m. somewhere.
Central, but okay.
Central. I'm from Europe. I don't know these times.
8 p.m. somewhere.
Well,
factually accurate.
In fact, I believe, and factually accurate is the best type of accurate, as we all know. So for this season, the casting pads are going to be myself and Caroline, and
me.
On alternating weeks is going to be Becky and LadyOfTheCrease, i.e. Nicole. So next week you're going to see that, and then the week after you'll see us, or there might be a few switch arounds here and there.
Maybe some surprises coming down
Might
the
be some
pipeline
surprises. Definitely. Yeah.
But just to highlight what Hayu's saying, we had a really great first season, and this season we're just kind of going down to 2 sets of pairs, and we're gonna give you some more consistency, which will be pretty exciting, and I'm pretty excited for it. And chat seems really excited for it too. Hello, everybody. I like that. I got mountain representation was very important to certain people in chat, so I was very excited about that.
Okay, that's good. There's a lot of mooses and linguinis currently happening in chat. Hello, everybody who is raiding from Gabby Sparks' stream. Thanks, Gabby. You are watching the VML. We're just about to kick off season 2 of the VML. This is the first week of play, and we've got 4 great matches coming up for you this evening. Should we jump in to have a look at the metagame for this week?
Let's do it. I'm really excited to see some new slides. New season, new slides?
New season, new slides, new graphics. Thanks to the very awesome mellenomi for making these graphics for us, for the metagame graphic. No surprises, having a quick look at this week's spread. 9 copies of Jeskai Looker Fires, 6 copies of Cycling, 4 copies of...
Sorry, you didn't name the deck correctly.
Oh, my bad.
You have to read all 4 words.
Okay. 9 copies of Jeskai Looker Fires, open brackets, Yorion, close brackets.
Thank you. The technically correct plays again.
Okay. 6 copies of Cycling, split between the Boros and the Jeskai builds, brackets, Lurus. 4 copies of Bant, brackets, Yorion. And then a smattering of Wilderness Reclamation, Mono Red, Aggro, brackets, Obosh, and some other pretty spicy builds that we might get to see later on this evening. So, any thoughts on what you're seeing here?
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about this league is that you're getting a large gathering of people that love to play Magic, and you are going to have people that are going to pick up the best deck and say, this is what I'm registering. And you do see that with 9 Jeskai Looker Fires Yorion decks. But I looked at the deck list, you do see some other wild, fun decks that are hopefully going to make our way onto camera today. And if not today, later as the league goes on. And I love that mix. We saw it last season. There were a couple of different players that just brought these fantastically new decks new decks that we could see and experience. And so we weren't always watching the top decks. And I love that. I love that, we're playing 8 weeks together. You should play what you want to play. Yeah, you can totally message, your friend the night before and say, hey, I'm playing so-and-so. What should I play to beat them? Or you can be like Hayu, that's like, oh, Paulo came second at an online Grand Prix. I'll register his 95. I mean, his
95. Wow, good catch.
And
very close.
And maybe the person that you played also did the same thing. Who knows?
Maybe that the person that you played may have also registered the exact same 95 cards that you did. Which is definitely what happened to me this week.
Maybe some small spoilers, but maybe you registered a deck knowing who you were going to play against, thinking it was a good matchup, and then through some chatting with Jen, you realized maybe it wasn't a good matchup. There's lots of possibilities, and I super love it. I love that we don't just have 32 Looker Fires in our lineup. We have a lot of decks, and we'll have a lot of things to watch. One thing to point out from coverage point of view, the way this works is, I don't know if you quite gave a kind of breakdown on how players play, but they actually have 6 to 7 days to play their match. They just have to communicate with their opponent. And so everything comes out on Monday. You have throughout the week or the weekend to play. And because of that, coverage, like we in production, get to pick the matchups that we see the deck list for. Like we curated these matches, not based on the result, but based on the deck lists. So we don't actually know the result, but we do know the deck list. So that's kind of one thing about coverage each week, is we're not going to show you 4 Looker Fires mirror each week. We are going to try and keep things interesting and show you maybe a 4-color Titan's Nest deck one week.
Absolutely.
Not this week. but no,
not this week, but some. And just to add to that as well, we are obviously the whole point of the VML is to showcase, a lot of the amazing talent that we have in the women and non-binary community of Magic. And so to that end, we're obviously going to try and feature every single one of our players in each division at some point over the 8-9 weeks of broadcasts.
I will, because Chad was commenting on it. The 4 colors Titans deck, I believe it was HG Roses, and that was actually it was my first choice. But they played an hour ago, and we're great, but we're not that great. We could not turn that match over in time. But
don't worry. If HG Rose sticks with 4 color Titan Nest, there will be. You will get to see it on your screen, I'm sure, in the next few weeks. All right, so let's have a look at our first matchup. For the first match of this evening, we thought we definitely are going to celebrate the winner of last season, the winner of season 1, hibananafish. So let's have a look at her deck list.
So this was my favorite. I didn't do the slides this week. Hayu took on the slides, and I just kind of pulled up the slides and was like, "The crown is so good. I'm so happy."
The crown is so good. Yeah. And if you would like to be able to send this awesome crown and other emotes in the chat, please do subscribe to our channel. So hibananafish took down season 1 of the VML. And it was an incredible feat because she is actually based in Europe and had to play the playoff finals at a ridiculous time in the morning.
Well, not just a ridiculous time in the morning, but we were having, so we went live for the finals last time, and the way it worked out was she had been playing her matches later, that time usually, but for that week, she was just working every morning at 8 a.m. her time. So she had to wake up at 4 a.m. to play the match and hopefully manage to finish it all before having to go to work. It was bizarre.
Well, I didn't even know that she had to go to work afterwards. I was impressed that she was up at 4 a.m., let alone having to work a full day afterwards. Very impressive stuff from the champion of season 1, hibananafish. We have a look at her deck list here. It's a classic Jeskai Looker Fires brackets Yorion build. Caroline, you played this deck a lot recently.
I have. I love this deck.
Are there any things about this particular build that stand out to you?
I believe, though it's a little blurry, but I'm pretty sure this is the main deck is exactly Nassif's list from the top 8 of the Magic Fest Online finals last week.
Right.
Actually, no, I might be wrong. Maybe a little off because there's a mystical dispute that I didn't notice. Basically, long story short, the deck has not changed a lot in the last couple of weeks, except for 2 or 3 flex slots, and those flex slots in this particular week are Omen of the Forge, Aether Gust, and I think 1 mystical dispute. But everything else is pretty solid. You got your Lukas, you got your Fires, you got your Agent of Treacheries, which everyone's gone down to 3 now. Just a normal number, just 3.
Oh, yeah. 75% saturation of treachery.
I would say the biggest debate of this deck is whether or not you play Scrylands or not Scrylands. And from that, whether or not you play a blue Mythos. And, that's really it. That's really all we're at this format is do you play the Scrylands or do you not? Would you not play Scrylands?
Well, if we have a look at hibananafish's opponent's deck list this week, we might have some answers to this. This week, hibananafish is playing against Aura, whose screen name is Millenomi. As we can see, it is the Jeskai Looker Fires brackets Yorion mirror. However, some pretty different inclusions in this list.
Yeah, we definitely have some spicers. So quickly off the bat, I see Heliod's Intervention. Gonna be pretty good in the mirror. Expels and Fires has always been a really tight tension. Some people say it's worth having it. Some people are say no, you should not have Expels, et cetera, et cetera. In this particular case, if you expect a bunch of mirrors, put a card in your deck that destroys your opponent's Fires and not yours. That's totally reasonable.
Absolutely.
Neutralize is a card I have not seen in the Fires matchup main deck before. That's pretty interesting. I do love me a Blue Mythos. All about the Blue Mythos. Probably my favorite card in this standard format. And then everything else looks, pretty normal. The one thing I should point out was if you rewound about 2 weeks, these decks were not playing Omen of the Sun. Their token makers were relying heavily on Birth of Meletus, Shark Typhoon, and your lands, your white castle. And then suddenly people added Omen of the Sun, and you realized basically the first time you cast it how important that was. And so you can see here that Omen of the Sun is included in both lists, but that was something that was kind of like innovative / not really.
Well, no, it is, because when I first tried this deck list, when you first recommended that I try it, it still didn't have Omen of the Sun at the time. And I do remember feeling a little bit like it was hard to keep up with aggro, or, it was hard to find the enabling pieces for the Looker combo. I also really like the one of Narset. I really want to see Narset in action because I'm a real sucker for new planeswalkers from each set. And obviously Looker is getting a lot of representation, but I really, really want to see this Narset. So see whether she does anything.
Yeah, so new Narset is pretty fun. I played it in regular Fires. I was playing 2, I think, at one point. And we'll see how it goes. The one thing I really want to highlight of this deck list, which I think is really playing with fire, but going to be really interesting, is the one of Dream Trawler. Now, Hayu, I know personally that you love the card Dream Trawler. I do
love the card Dream Trawler. Also, I would like to point out that it's playing with fires, not playing with fire.
Oh, that was pretty good. Just a small, little bit about Hayu and myself. We once did a draft together where we splashed Dream Trawler, but had it every time, no problem, so we're great. But the reason I bring it up is I have sided Dream Trawler into my Luca Jeskai Fires deck, and the heart attack that you get when you minus Luca on a token and go, did I hit the agent? Did I hit the agent? is so stressful. And so while I love Dream Trawler, I'm like, my heart, I don't know if I can handle these matchups. It might be really tough.
It's funny because Aura is actually playing the full 4 copies of Agent of Treachery.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So that actually does change your hit ratio a bit, right? So it's not like 3-1, it's like 4-1. All
I know is that if we see it in the match, I'm going to take a big breath and be like, Agent?
Okay.
I think for the most part, you do want Agent. I understand Dream Trawler's benefits. I think it's a super great card. It obviously is a cheaper card, so you're going to cast it sooner. But on those Luca hits, we're gonna have some sweats, and I'm pretty excited about it. What do you think? Should we head down to the match?
Absolutely. Let's head down straight into the match. We are going to be watching it from Aura's point of view. Unfortunately, hibananafish having issues with her recording this week. For the other matches, we are going to bring you hand cams as well, as we have been used to recently. Throwing that first 7 back.
So we saw a mulligan there. That was an interesting mulligan because there was actually a decent amount of interaction, especially because we're in game 1 against the mirror. But I think if I recall correctly, maybe the lands weren't participating. I'm not quite sure.
I think there was no white mana, possibly. But Aura definitely considering the second hand, keeping the 6, bottoming the Omen of the Sea. Is that?
Oh, there is a ghost. That's funny. I didn't notice the ghost until now.
What is the ghost?
On the screen. On Aura's. Oh. It's spooky. I like it.
It's quite spooky. It is an aura of Aura. I think it's... And now I can't stop staring at it. As we do see the players just opening out the game with some triumphs. Blast Zone in the second land there for Aura, and are we going to see an end of turn Omen of the Sea just to set up the draw?
That's a pretty smart one on here. So some things to note about game 1. First of all, it's open deck lists, pretty helpful. We know that Aura has 2 natural neutralizes, and hibananafish has 1 Mystical Dispute. So in this case, you slam that Teferi. You're like, you have it, 80 cards, you're great. So that's what happened. Game 1 is usually a slam a combo until you can't anymore. Like you want to combo before, combo being Luca into Agent of Treachery very early. You want to do that ASAP. That being said, these two opponents did bring decks that interact a lot more than a typical Game 1. But it's still 80 cards, so who knows? Like, it's got 2 ofs and 1 ofs. Who knows what's going to happen? But
right. That's the thing.
Now, sorry. I was going to say right now, from Aura's point of view, unfortunately, there is no combo pieces to be seen, and that could affect how this goes.
Absolutely. And maybe that was one of the considerations that did lead her to throw back the first hand as well, because I believe that was also pretty light on.
Yeah, the first hand had a Luca and neutralized, and I didn't see the other card, unfortunately.
I remember Steam Vents. I was thinking.
Oh. Interesting.
So, Teferi gonna bounce hibananafish's Birth of Meletus. And so it just confused me because Aura also drew a Birth of Meletus off it.
Yes, no, I agree. That was very... There was a lot of Birth of Meletus.
There were a lot of... Meletus being born all over the place. As we do see Fires of Invention coming down now for hibananafish. Obviously, key engine piece. And the Teferi having ticked down the previous turn now, not able to, make the tempo play of bouncing it in the coming turn. We'll see what hibananafish follows up with here.
So just, on the, we'll call it the combo watch. Right now, in terms of tokens, neither player has a token in play. Yeah. Except, Aura's about to get one. One thing, so we actually have to go back to that Teferi turn because I wasn't really paying attention like 100%. And I was like, we bounced our opponent's Birth of Meletus. But I realized why we did that was because then they didn't get a token on that turn. Because you need a token before you play Fires from Birth of Meletus. You can't play Birth of Meletus and Luca on the same turn. You won't get a token that way. So it was actually a super heads-up play. I just didn't get there. I got there now, but didn't get there at the beginning.
All right. All right.
So in terms of... In Combo Watch here, what can happen for Hibananafish is they can go, or she can go Omen of the Sun into Luca. That will still work. Well, land Omen of the Sun into Luca. But it won't work with Birth of Meletus. And I think that was a pretty interesting consideration.
Absolutely. Both players trying to, very aware, as you say, of that Game 1 dynamic where the combo is like the key play to go for. And here is now that 5th land.
This is like... Game 1s are really, really tricky. I will say, while Aura didn't have a lot going on, she did draw the Luca and already has a token and a Yorion, worst case scenario. So things could be looking up and up on our turn. If we do get to deploy that Luca. We don't have the Fires, but, there's a way to get a Fires, I hear. And you know what? Now the coast, I think...
We don't have the Fires to cast the...
What's up?
Sorry, you're breaking up slightly for me, but I don't know whether it's me or whether it's...
Well, you're breaking up for me, so we'll call it a draw.
All right. We'll call it a draw. Who needs Fires, though, when you could just hard cast Luca straight away?
So I wanted to be greedy there, but I understand why we didn't. We could have had our own Fires if we really wanted one. But we did not.
Oh, I see. Could have stolen the opposing Fires there, but instead deciding to go for Yorion. What's the logic behind going for the Yorion there?
I guess something to think about was whether or not Teferi could end up bouncing Hibananafish's Yorion and starting the cycle all over again. Cutting that off. Well, actually, that doesn't really cut that off. Not sure. Sometimes just having a creature is just better than not having a creature. So, we did
Shatter the Sky. I believe Shatter the Sky did take care of the board there, and now we're going to get into this mid-game slog, I believe, which is the technical term, which describes the toing and froing exchange of resources battle that is going on here. Obviously, Aura very ahead in terms of cards in hand, but most of those cards are lands. Going to see the hard cast Agent of Treachery. No mystical dispute from hibananafish.
So chat's pointing out that Aura didn't want Yorion to be able to attack Luca. They wanted a second activation on which makes sense. You know, we are at my favorite time of the game, which is, you're doing all these things to make sure that, none of my board presence does anything. Okay, well, here's a hardcast Agent of Treachery. Like, okay, go. And this, honestly, these are the mirrors, right? Like, you spend so much effort kind of making sure they don't have a token, making sure Luca can't come down, and then it's like 7 mana. Hello, here you go. Yeah, there's just so much to do. Sometimes it's pretty fun. So I wonder. So hibananafish has 2 spells to play this turn. I think Narset looks like it's at 1, probably. It's hard to tell a little bit.
Narset is at 1.
No, it's at 3. Sorry.
Narset was not at 1.
Kind of hard to see.
I believe she's probably at 1 now. Sorry for that. We did have a little interruption in the audio there. It wasn't just me imagining things or possibly going slightly insane. Luca now has come down on the side of hibananafish as well, and
no, that's not happening.
No,
sorry,
that is not what happened.
Oh no, hold on, that's not going to work the way we want it to, unfortunately. I think. Okay, so I'll catch us up. hibananafish played an agent from hand, stole Luca, then Luca minus on the Agent of Treachery, but I believe it does not get another agent. Because it's 7 mana. It doesn't go same converted mana cost. It only goes up. Unfortunately, there was not another agent to come by on that turn. So the dust is settled. We have no more Luca on Aura's side. But we still do have our Agent of Treachery. So, we can get some combat damage in. That's exciting.
Nice. Combat damage. It seems so pedestrian when, everyone's going off with these crazy combos, and your Agent of Treachery is just a 7 mana 2/3 kind of chipping in. Alright, so Agent of Treachery is going to take care of Aura's own Lucca that had been stolen.
So right now, the things that we need to think about is we have an Elspeth Conquers Death that's going to go off. Well, it's hit number 2 like 3 times because it's been in and out of the world, but it is going to come back next. It's going to bring a creature back next turn or a planeswalker, and to my knowledge, there's nothing super juicy in hibananafish's graveyard. I think there's a Yorion. There's a Yorion because it got shattered at the sky. So that's a pretty juicy target. We do have to Yorion might just bounce the ECD here, or might bounce Narset. Can bounce Narset. Just kidding. So it might just bounce the ECD. I'm not sure. There's definitely a lot of choices for hibananafish here. Unfortunately, not a lot of choices for Aura because we have a lot of land cards in our hand.
A lot of land cards in the hand. Aura does, though, have the cycling land and the Castle Vantress on board. So, a lot of ways to select / get rid of some of these lands that aren't really helpful for us right now. I think the triomes are great, by the way. I'm absolutely in love with the design. The fact that Big Cycle for 3 is like a great cost. So Teferi gonna actually return the Fires of Invention to hibananafish's hand, presumably to allow her to play more than 2 spells this turn.
This is
it's your favorite.
It's my favorite, and it's going to be really important on this turn. What I was going to say as we're going into our Aura's turn, we need to deal with the ECD. The ECD is going to bring back Yorion on hibananafish's turn, and that's going to just start us all up over again. And we need a way to deal with that, and we do. Oh, we don't have double blue? Wait. Oh, we do.
No. I was all tricked. There's a triumph.
There was triggers on the stack. I got all mixed up. Okay, so we should steal the ECD here, which we do. Awesome. Now the ECD is going to go off on our turn, and I don't remember our graveyard as well. We have it. Oh, we have an agent because of Shatter. So same reason. We have the agent in our yard, and Yorion is in hibananafish's yard. So if we get to do this ECD, we get an agent back.
That's right. Oh, although we are going to see the Agent of Treachery from hand from hibananafish's side also. This ECD is just being tossed to and fro from the players.
So here's what we can do on our turn. If we're really concerned about this ECD, we can Teferi bounce it. I'm not sure that's where we're at. I can't even remember whose ECD is at this point. Unfortunately, we don't have enough mana code to Teferi bounce Agent, play Agent. We don't have Fires in play. But that would have been really sick too. But no one wants this ECD to go off, because if it goes, it's like literally passing like a hot potato back and forth.
A hot potato, yeah.
But the wrong way. It's like this time you want your potato to blow up and get you some cool things.
Well, I don't know about you, Caroline, but I personally enjoy a hot potato myself. No, yeah, you're right.
I like my hot potatoes in French fry form, please.
I see. I wonder if this Teferi could actually return, although returning ECD to opponent's hand is just so awful.
We are just short a blue source. Oh, that's brutal. So we actually have 10 mana. But if we bounce, so I don't know what's going to happen, but if you go for it and draw a blue source, you look amazing. But I don't know what happens here. I assume you can't do it. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Okay, this is the safe play.
Yeah, this is definitely the safer play. Going for the blue source, I mean, obviously, it depends. We haven't drawn very many blue sources.
We don't get a draw. We don't get a draw, so never mind. There was no out.
Oh, of course. Narset.
Narset. So definitely smart heads up play by Aura. We can't let that hot potato go off. Narset ruining all of our funds. No, I think this was perfect.
Her mission is just to ruin people's funds all day.
Well, Teferi and Narset together, by the way, if you ever had an Omen of the Sea in your hand, you just are the saddest person in the world. You're like, okay, normally you can just pass and do stuff on your opponent's turn to get around Narset, but Teferi's like, and at least with Shark Typhoon, you can do it, through Teferi. But no, Omen of the Sea is just a Dobbs card when both are in play.
No,
and it's really
2 mana, scry 2, sorcery speed.
Yeah, 2 mana scry 2. Yeah. So this game, this is sort of what I was saying. Like, it just goes back agents to agents and back and forth, and eventually someone's gonna have to break serve, and it is generally the person with the ECDs. That being said, hibananafish has cast this ECD quite a lot.
I mean,
to wrestle with it a little bit, but we are out of Blue Mythos. We might actually be out of agents too. I think there might be one exiled. I'm not quite sure.
I do believe Aura's playing 4 copies of agents.
Yeah. I also have Dream Dragon.
So it's possible that the 4th agent and possibly the Dream Trawler are gonna make a difference here. It's how, in terms of, obviously, like you mentioned, the ECD is the most important card in terms of winning these, resource battles. But what can the players do in terms of their play that can put them ahead or give them an edge?
It's a tricky question because at this point of the match, it really is just play the spells from your hand. Like each opponent, like each player has 1 to 2 cards in their hand. Fires does restrict what you could play. So, you might get into a thinking spot there for sure. But you're really just treading water. You're just trying to be the one with the most things. Speaking of things, this blue mana issue is kind of unfortunate for us because we could, in theory, play both, but we don't have enough blue mana going on. But, a 3/5/5/5 flyer coming on in. I can't see what the blast zone is at, but I imagine it's getting to...
It went up to 3. It was, I believe it was at 1, and now I believe it's a 3.
3 is a very good number. I don't know if you're following along at home, but... There are 3 permanents on the other side of the battlefield that have CMC 3. One of which doesn't really matter, but 2 of which really do matter.
Absolutely.
Specifically that Narset one. So this is going to be kind of exciting, potentially. End of turn, Blast Zone activation into some Dream Trawler action, so we'll see how that goes.
We will see how that goes. Dream Trawler is going to attempt to get hexproof here by discarding that Narset. It makes sense to minus the Teferi here, since obviously that Blast Zone is... Oh, and there's a second Teferi in hand. I was going to say, since obviously the Blast Zone is going to go.
So that was our first spell of the turn. So now we can minus Teferi, bounce our agent, take something, maybe... I don't know what we take with agent. Oh, instead we're just going to Luca. That works too. Wow, Hayu, double duty over here, subbing in chat and commentating.
You gotta make sure that the contribute to the prize pool in any way that you can, including my subbing, so that we can get this awesome Lance emote that I'm like obsessed with. I'm just gonna spam it a bit. All right, so end of turn. Oh, actually, the Blast Zone is gonna go up.
Oh, we went up to 5.
Interesting. Yeah, so the plan probably...
the ECD is still...
Use the Blast Zone.
Well, that ECD is still such a problem. Well, no, the ECD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we have to really deal with that ECD.
Absolutely. And, sorry, I mentioned Yorion because the reason that the ECD was the problem, as we were saying before, definitely involved that Yorion in the graveyard still. And the added benefit, of course, of killing the Lucca as well on the other side, which is also CMC 5.
But the best part that's okay, I'll take it all back. The coolest thing that almost happened on this turn was dealing with that Narset. Surprise! Big Shark came.
Big Shark.
Did not happen, but we got the backup Shatter, clean some stuff up, start all over again, figure this out. Back to the drawing board we go. And continue on in the mirror. The mirrors are a wonderful, wonderful thing. You've got to favor hibananafish's situation here, right? Like, there's just continuous advantage from these planeswalkers, from the castles. Oh, we are about to get locked out on blue.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately. It's going to be hard to come back from, because I believe this agent is about to come and yoink our Triome. Yeah.
Oh, no.
But this is a good time to talk about a story that I was about to share. Oh, speaking of blue mana.
Oh. And that's going to do it for the first game. Sorry, Caroline, just to interrupt you there as we go to sideboarding. What are you looking at to bring in here on from Aura's sideboard?
So, my sideboarding has changed a lot in the mirror, give or take the week. My current sideboarding plan is to bring in all my interactions, so Dovin's Vetoes, Aether Gusts, Mystical Disputes. I had a disdainful stroke. I side out 3 Shatters, 3 Bertha Meletus. That's my general plan. There was definitely a time and place where I was siding out Fires. I have since come around on that a little bit and realized that Bertha Meletus is really just not a card that's impacting me very much. We also probably have some main deck, like, aggro cards that we can probably side out. Like, I think there was an Omen, I think, like a red Omen that we could have sided out. Right. I did just see the last second Neutralize cut, which is pretty interesting. I guess I don't think Aura brought in as many counters.
I believe the missiles came in, but I think the missiles came in
Did you see the vetoes?
I think I did see some vetoes, but I did also saw Legion War Boss Visual coming in and some of that.
We have War Boss in our sideboard? Amazing. Love it. That's
2 copies of Legion War Boss.
That's sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. So, unfortunately, taking another mulligan.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Dovin's veto is in, as we do see in this second hand. Unfortunately, one of these cards is going to have to go under, and a little light on lands here. Interesting choice as to what to throw back.
I'm putting back the ECD here. It's just a CMC game. I got 2 mana, 5 mana is just too far off to worry about it, in my opinion. And looks like Aura came to the similar conclusion. This hand, I think, is pretty good. When you have an opening hand that has both fires and a counterspell, you do want to play in such a way where you play your counterspell first, because later you can't. But that is matching up with our hand. Like, our hand is just, we need to scry a little bit. We might need to get an Narset down, but we have time to get this veto against hibananafish. The only issue is if hibananafish is also on that strategy, it gets a little awkward. The rule of thumb that I've been kind of figuring out and reading is if you have land drops, keep making them and passing. If you don't have land drops, you probably can't afford to do that. And in this case, we don't have a lot going on. We got to get our spells out there. And that's the conclusion that Aura made as well. And so he, unfortunately, while we're at a good spot because we have 2 vetoes, we are going to fall behind with lands if we don't see them soon. And hibananafish is not having any of it. But, let's draw and see what happens. Ooh. Yeah,
absolutely. Heliod's intervention, looking pretty sweet, but unfortunately, the dry spell of lands continues. Pretty sad to see, especially after so many lands being drawn in the first game for Aura.
Unfortunate.
Shark Typhoon now at least, can make you a little baby. Oh no, I'm not gonna say it.
Baby
shark,
baby shark,
junior
shark, baby shark. No. Everybody gets one. I got one. Okay.
Cal, I know for a fact that you've had more than one.
On the stream, everybody gets one per day.
One per day. Okay, all right. Anna is using up her entire month's in the chat there.
There we go. Let's go.
Lands. We did it.
We have a red source already.
We do a red.
Going back to the strategy, if we have land drops, make your land drops. If you don't, jam. We have another land drop, and at this point, we are really just saying to hibananafish, you have to do something before we're going to do something. Like, we don't have the ability to try and fight over our fires. We might as well not play it. We have so many counterspells in our hand. If we play our fires, our cards are just dead. So we're going to have to hope that eventually we'll fight over things. With our 5th land, we get to fight back with these 1/1s. So the 1/1s are not going to run us over forever. So I think this is totally reasonable to just hold and hold and hold.
Right. Try and eventually draw out of it. Hope that opponent doesn't. Big shark. That's the kind of shark that I like. Nice 5/5.
Unfortunately, things have changed. We're in a bit of trouble now. hibananafish was able to not play anything and create a much bigger threat. Literally, a bigger threat.
Literally.
Through our counterspells, and things have changed dramatically, and we need to get something going, like now.
All right. So, sorry, go on.
Well, awkwardly, we got rid of our token, which we had to, but it's just things are looking less.
A little bit dicey now for Aura. No 6 land drop. Gonna keep passing the turn, sitting behind these counters, hoping that hibananafish might be tempted to tap out in her turn, and then we could untap and drop some.
5/5 shark doo 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 doo. 5/5 shark doo doo doo.
What? You said you got one.
I know, but this one is really funny.
You used your one. I'm beginning to think that the one was a lie.
Have you ever seen me follow my own rules ever?
No, I don't know why I ever believed you, frankly. We are going to see Mythos of Luna copy the 5/5 shark. Oh my god, now I can hear it in my head every time I say the word shark. It's very unfortunate.
So
acknowledgement there of Teferi being on the stack, Mystical Dispute going to take its tax, but ultimately that Teferi is going to resolve.
Actually, I'm not opposed. Like I guess it is a good game. I forgot about the bounce of Teferi. Just kidding. Yeah, it was an actual game. Good point.
An actual good game. That's going to do it for the first match there. hibananafish, Season 1 winner of VML, going to continue her winning streak. Was that pretty much how... obviously, unfortunate for Aura there to be having mana issues in the second game. In your experience, was that a pretty normal representation of what happens in the mirror?
The post-board games are definitely what happened, or definitely a common thing that, is a little bit combination of someone stumbling, but also you have 80 cards and you have 2 different decks in your deck. You have a control deck and a combo deck. And in this case, we drew the control side, but our opponent drew the side that plays through our control, aka Shark Typhoon.
Yeah.
And we just got run over. Like, sorry, I'm pausing because can you name, other than the Teferi that was just played at the end?
Yeah.
Can you name a permanent that was played by hibananafish? I don't believe hibananafish.
Was there there was a birth of Miletus?
There was no birth of Miletus.
There was a birth of Miletus very early on.
Oh yeah, on turn 3.
Okay.
You're right. The Narset got countered. Went to hibananafish's. When Birth of Miletus land tapped, go. That was the only permanent played. From there on out, it was make 1/1s, make fish, or make shark. Teferi, which is insane if you think about it. Like, that match was won based on non-permanent, non-spells.
Absolutely.
Like, what? What is magic?
It was like...
I said canceled instead of countered.
Oh.
And chat's like, yeah, I wish Narset got canceled.
Are we going to cancel Narset on Twitter? Get the pitchforks out. Let us draw cards. What do you think about Shark Typhoon? Because obviously this card has changed the way that people play in Standard, I think, quite a lot.
I'm pretty happy with it. I think Teferi was really bringing down some folks, including myself. It's pretty frustrating when you're sitting with your hand and you have a Bone Crusher Giant and your opponent goes Teferi minus bounce something, it's at 1. And you're just like, I have a Bone Crusher Giant. You should not be, like, I should be allowed to kill this Teferi. It's like the parameters of not being able to play spells should have been changed slightly. Because you can't play it in response.
Yeah.
Like, it's still...
Yeah.
So Shark Typhoon has changed the game. And that means we have to change. And I think asking Magic players to change is awesome, and getting our normalies different, like being like, hey, you can't just play Teferi and it will always stay at 1, or it's not a risk anymore. It's like, hey, my opponent has mana. Is there a shark coming? And I think that that's amazing, and I think that is a really interesting way to play Magic. And I will say, in these mirrors, it actually does close the clocks a little bit. Like, 5/5 sharks are a lot faster than those 1/1s that were being spit out. So
absolutely,
I'm pretty happy with it.
They are going to invent. Yeah, I think so too. It's interesting that you say that, it is a counterplay against Teferi, and it definitely is that. But it's also interesting to me how good it is with Teferi.
Right.
Like, just in the same deck, your opponents can't play things at instant speed, and you can make a shark. Oh my god! Or you can hold up your sorceries for instant speed and make your shark.
Well, it's similar to Teferi and Narset. Like, Narset stops Teferi, in theory, but they also are really good together. So it's
that's the thing. I for one am very happy that they keep giving presents to the blue players, because we didn't have very many presents for very long, but now we're getting presents again. Which is nice.
You have been fine. You had Sphinx's Revelation, and now you have Teferi. will be okay.
Wait, Sphinx's Revelation was the last present we had.
I don't know. I don't play blue, so who knows? What about us red players? We don't have any 1-mana 2/2s. It's atrocious. Come on. Give us back our 1-mana 2/2s.
You have Scorch Spitter. That's basically a 1-mana.
Oh, everyone always argues that. It's a 1-mana 1/1 on the card. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Oh, thank you very much to Madam Teapot for that subscription, the Twitch Prime subscription there.
A new competitor to this VML.
A new competitor to season 2 of the VML, and also one of our friends.
I saw a file complaint of Madam Teapot being forced to join this league, so we'll have to deal with that. No, I'm just kidding. we highly encouraged Madam Teapot to join and hang out with us every week, so that was going to be really fun and exciting.
All right.
Should we watch some more Magic?
So, absolutely. Let's get down to the second match of the evening. This is going to come to you from Division 1 of the VML. We are going to see Emmaskyeward. And Emmaskyeward is, again, on Jeskai Lookafires brackets Yorion. I promise it's not another mirror. I promise.
I said at the beginning of the cast, I was like, don't worry, everybody. You're not going to see, 8 mirrors in a row. And then the first 3 decks we've shown are just Lookafires.
The first 3 decks were Lookafires, but I promise you it's not going to be another mirror. This build of the deck seems pretty... there is a Mythos of Illuna. Oh, 2 copies of the Mythos of Illuna in...
Yes!
And 4 copies of Agent, and then the rest pretty standard. Let's have a look at her opponent's deck.
Just a quickly comment. Emma's deck is definitely the most straightforward. No flex slots, all of everything, like 4 shatters, 4 agents, just jamming it all. Definitely no debating on the last couple slots on that point. And then I will say there are 4 Legion War Bosses in the sideboard, which we hadn't seen in a long time, and we've just seen twice in 2 Luca matches, so that's kind of cool. Speaking of red cards.
Speaking of many red cards, we have got Lady of the Crease, who of course is a caster on the VML as well, and she'll be hopefully coming to you next week for the broadcast on Friday. But for now, we have her here in match number 2. She is on mono red aggro brackets Obosh. How has this deck changed since the printing of these Ikoria cards?
Well, you did say Obosh, and that has changed the deck a lot, actually. The Obosh companion requirement is only odd, which is why I call Obosh oddish sometimes. Only odd
it's so
mana
cute.
In your deck. You're only allowed CMC 1 or 3 or 5, etc. This deck has not changed a ton in the sense that, the mono reds of the past played a lot of 1-drops, but they did play 2-drops. They had Robber of the Riches, specifically Steamkin was a huge 2-drop that this deck doesn't have anymore. In fact, it was one of the reasons people thought mono red couldn't be a thing, because Steamkin was just a broken card that you no longer play. Yeah. A really interesting find, and something that has trickled down in the Obosh builds between red and red-black, is the Banner. I think it was Aaron Barrich played a red-black deck, Obosh deck that had a Banner, and the Banner is kind of a big game changer, because when you have so many 1-drops, if you go 1-drop on turn 1, 1-drop turn 2, and turn 3 you add 3 power to your board, that's kind of insane. And then also maybe another 1-drop.
And that power has haste.
Well, it's not just that, but
very, very scary.
You go from turn 3 where you play the Banner to turn 4 you play Obosh.
Oh.
You have gotten rid of your turn 4. That's the crazy part. That's the part that bridged and made Obosh a real card that can get played. Because if you could only play on turn 1, turn 3, and turn 5, that's a little different. But the Banner gets you from 3 to 5, and that is such a huge improvement. And that's what you see here. You see all 1-drops, and then your powerful 3-drops. So in this case, Annex, Bonecrusher, Phoenix, and of course the Banner. Light Up the Stage is definitely a 1-drop, if we're being
in this deck, it's definitely a 1-drop. Annex, Bonecrusher, and Phoenix of Ash. What's interesting to me from a very control player perspective is that this deck seems pretty resistant actually to sweepers. Like 4 copies of Anax, accompanied by the Phoenixes of Ash and the Grim Initiates as well. Like it can survive sweepers pretty well.
So it can survive sweepers. There we go. There's our words. However, the Luca Fires deck is a pretty interesting deck. It does play sweepers, and that is often a way that it survives in the early game. However, it also just plays not so much in the main deck, and maybe not in this particular sideboard, but sometimes it just plays such powerful sideboard cards that sweepers aren't even on their radar. Like, I've seen a lot of Luca Fire decks that are just playing Dream Trawlers. Dream Trawler is not a sweeper, but it's sure going to impact the board. Like, and if you Luca it out, that's the games that play out. I don't know if anyone watched the E-League when the E-League, because he did play against Mono Red. The games play out a lot differently than just holding your breath to a sweeper. Like just going, hey, I swept the board, now I'm going to win. It's very different. The meta has changed in such a way where the Luca Fires has these spells that change how things are going, as opposed to just a sweeper. Like in the old Fires deck, you had to just keep a hand with Deafening Clarion, or you could not make any progress. And I believe it's not the same in this format anymore.
All right. Well, let's head down to the match and see whether that interaction does come into play. We are going to be watching from the point of view of Emma Skyward. A pretty medium hand, would you say? This opening 7? Oh, it was the 6. Oh, no, we did. Okay, Emma Skyward did take a mulligan there. She is on 6 cards. That Shatter the Sky is in hand. Caroline, do we still have you on the line?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay, good. So Tin Street Dodger is going to be the first 1-drop coming out of Lady of the Crease's deck.
So as much as I said we don't need the sweeper, I'll take it. If it's in my, opening hand, obviously we'll take it.
Absolutely.
But, it is something to note that you're right. The sweepers are not necessarily like the end all. You might end up with some tokens. The smaller red list had the 1/1 that makes an amass token at the end, right?
Yes.
The first striker,
Grim Initiate. Yeah.
So with Grim Initiate and Annex, you're in a bit of trouble for sure.
Yeah. So no double 2-drop on turn 2, but there was the stomp from Bonecrusher Giant, going to shock Emma Skyward to the face. Phoenix of Ash coming down on turn number 3 for Nicole, and the team's going to get in. Omen of the Sea now having a look at the top 2 cards for Emma Skyward, going to keep both of those. Omen of the Sun, obviously a pretty important card for these Looker decks to stabilize.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty funny. Omen of the Sun is a really great card, and it's both a great card in this matchup and also really good with our combo. However, there are spots that Mono Red can present where the Omen of the Sun, in this case, actually will do nothing. In the sense that Tin Street Dodger can be unblockable and the Phoenix flies. So I'm not 100% sure that playing Omen will develop your board far enough, since you might have to shatter next turn. So it's potentially possible where you just, you take, because you're going to take this damage anyway if Lady decides to not trade with the Tin Street. She might trade with the Tin Street. I'm not sure. This is the right card, right? Like, yeah.
The one that you can pay 1.
Yeah,
and then
pay 1. Yeah, I was right.
Block.
So, there's possibility where you just want to take that damage and then untap Shatter. Now you have Omen for future 1/1s that Annex is
right.
So it's something to think about.
Absolutely. So,
but the life gain is also just great too.
And the life gain does make a lot of sense. Oh, Fire's of Invention off the top for Emma Skyward.
Best time to draw it on turn 4. Obviously, fantastic at the game of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, and why draw it any earlier when you're just going to draw it at exactly the right time? Let's see whether she does. Yeah, I'm just trying to see whether she does decide to pull the trigger on this Shatter the Sky or not. Obviously, Phoenix and Anax are pretty resistant to the Shatters. And as you say, the 2/1/1s sitting on board. But they don't block Annex very well. They don't block the Tin Street Dodger.
And there is 4 mana in play, so in theory you have to be afraid of the next turn with Obosh coming down. It does look like we can't really take that risk. We do have to shatter. I totally get that. The nice thing about Annex tokens is they are not odd. So if we shatter here, 4 tokens come down. Even if Obosh comes down, we are only taking 4, and that's fine. The Phoenix cannot come back to my calculations because there should only be 2 cards in the library or in the graveyard other than Phoenix. So I think we're clear on the Phoenix as well. That was a guess, though.
It's exile 3 to a
and there's only 2 permanents because there's just the Annex and the Tin Street Dodger plus the Phoenix. So it should not be able to come back this turn. Yeah. So there's only...
Okay. So just the 4 satyrs there on the board for Lady of the Crease. We'll see if this turn 5, whether Obosh does come down or whether maybe that Bone Crusher Giant going to join in the party from its adventure.
So what's super nice coming up? So we are going to take 4 here. That's that was our scripted play. We're going to take 8.
We're actually going to take 8 because of the Castle Embereth.
We're still not out of the water because we do have a very good card that's always in our hand, no matter how hard we try, and that's Yorion. And Yorion is going to allow us to get 2 more life, 2 more tokens, and a 4/5.
That's quite a lot. 2 more life, 2 more tokens, 2 more preordains.
Sorry, I'm trying to think through this turn. I think if we already played 1 spell. Unfortunate. Okay, there were some shenanigans we could have done with Shark Typhoon to get Luca active this turn, but we wouldn't also be able to do the Yorion, so I think it wouldn't have been as impactful. However, we get our 2 life, 2 tokens. We have a 4/5. We get another card, and we can still Shark Typhoon. So we can do a ton. Like, if you think about it, our turn was kind of insane. Like, we did a lot. So we're not...
No, that was... I mean, any time that Yorion comes down and is blinking 2 or 3 enchantments for value, you got to feel like, that's such a huge burst of advantage there.
Oh my gosh, I missed one.
Yeah, there were 2 omens.
And now our hand looks great.
This ECD is very interesting to me in this matchup because in the old days, ECD was kind of dead against some of the mono red decks. There just weren't very many targets. But now, with Obosh obviously always in hand, Annex, and the Phoenix, are you liking it a bit more now against these sort of aggro decks?
Yeah, I don't actually side any out anymore. You have a guaranteed target every game with Obosh. And then your heavy hitters are also targets because you care a lot about Annex. You care a lot about Banner. Like, Banner is a target. Like,
absolutely.
So, ECD is weirdly in a deck that has like 16 1-drops. It's actually a pretty good card. This world is interesting and we're just living in it. So this is getting a little hairy. We now have 6 1/1s potentially coming across. We know that we have the Shark Typhoon, so we are only taking max 2 damage here, which is a lot better than 3. For those doing math at home.
2 is better than 3, but you have got to be a little bit wary of getting into stomp range as well, I think.
Yes, no, I agree. I think we might, Lady might want to save the Tin Street. I'm not quite sure how this breaks down here. Like, if I was allowed to block right now, I would just block Yorion on Fever Champion, 2/2 Shark on Tin Street, and then some 1/1s in front of some Satyrs. But the pause here is Lady thinking, do I want to make my Tin Street unblockable?
Right.
And I will say the Tin Street being unblockable is going to be really tough for us to deal with. Ooh.
Interesting. So the Stomp actually is going to... Yeah, so Stomp is actually going to take out the 2/2 Shark, and then we are going to see 3 of the 1/1s blocked.
We need a sweeper, and we need it bad.
Yep.
Oh, hold on. Oh, because we need one for Yorion? Yeah, no, that makes sense.
One for the locker. So
we do. Or for Luca, yeah.
Going all the way down to 2.
Oh, that's ironic because we drew the omen anyway. Oh, can we hold on? Can we go to fairy bounce? I'm trying to craft a turn. I think we get to fairy bounce Yorion, play Yorion, flicker fires. Okay, it's not what we ended up doing, but I think there was a sequence where we could get Yorion back into our hand and flicker to get more tokens out of Omen, and also still play Luca this turn.
Right.
But
because the fires would be in hand, and
the fires like in this like weird exile zone, so you can play one more. Totally reasonable that we didn't do that, but that was just something I was just building. On these turns where you have access to a Yorion and you have access to a fires, you have to like take 10 seconds to just be like, how do I play these in the best way possible? Because there are some wild things you can do, especially when Blue Mythos was a lot more prevalent in decks, like 3 to 4 copies. There were some wild lines that you could get going for sure.
I mean, everyone complains about this deck a lot, Caroline. Like, people... No, I wouldn't go so far as to say despise this deck, but, you know, we have heard complaints, Yorion, you know, very homogenous, everyone's playing Agent of Treachery, blah, blah, blah. But at least these decks, you know, are really very skill testing, lots and lots of decision trees, very hard to know what the exact right line is at any given time.
Well, like, I don't even know if my line was right, because if we actually look now, if we get to do the bounce Yorion plan, it's looking a lot better on this next turn than it was on that turn. Like, if we are able to survive, we get to flicker 2 omens, which is a lot better than 1, as previously stated in our new math. So if we get there, we're...
Maths lessons with Caroline and I.
We're going to be really far ahead.
Oh, and a target.
And that's actually where we are at. We're going to get to do it all, and it's so impressive that we managed to get to this turn, because it was a little hairy. But I think, we untap. We play Teferi, we bounce Yorion. We do have to play Yorion before we play ECD, but that's okay because we can't really flicker ECD for combo anyway. Can we get a token out of this?
Pretty crucially, the stealing of that Castle Embereth has really put a dent in the plans of Lady of the Crease.
So Luca can Luca can make a Yorion an agent. I just don't think that's what we want to do. But we'll have to see. So ECD is definitely a part of our turn. I just think that we did have access to a slightly more broken turn. Can we still do it? No, we can't because the Yorion has to be the second spell you play. It can't be the third spell you play.
Yeah, it's the Teferi now is the...
I mean, taking a look at our board is still super great.
It's absolutely insane how much we have.
We're likely not to get punked out. So it's totally fine. Like, you know, let's just see how this turn goes. But something to consider in the future is that Teferi Yorion interaction is pretty ridiculous. There's just a lot that you can do there.
Can I just clarify something? That if you play Obosh, Stomp doesn't deal 4 damage, right? It does 2 damage.
Exactly correct. Yes. Good question though, because we are getting, you know, at that time too. Wow, we're getting so rewarded for not doing this Yorion play that I've wanted to do for like 3 turns, because now we can flicker ECD. It's so good. Every time I say, I was like, this is the time to do the play, and then it doesn't work out that way, and I'm like, well, I guess it's even better now. Like, this is so good.
Honestly, I completely get it, because I'm also playing a Yorion deck currently, but the banned version, and it's so often very tempting to just pull the trigger on the Yorion bounce Yorion play, because you're like, wow, look at all this stuff I can get. But then, you know, if you pull the trigger too early, sometimes your opponent gets a turn.
The unthinkable has happened.
Agent? Oh my god, was an agent actually found off the plus of luck?
I have never, ever
Oh, and the next one just draw off the Teferi.
Well, this is actually brutal because now... Oh, no, we have 4 in our deck? Okay, we have 1 more to still hit if we ever...
Okay,
but look at this! The Yorions! Flicker everything! Emma, do it all. Just do it all. Do we get to hardcast an agent at the end of this? Oh my gosh.
I believe so, yes. But
this isn't standard casting.
All of their permanents.
Well, no, this isn't standard casting with Hayu and Caroline. This is just Caroline having a blast watching the Luca Fires deck.
Yeah, it's just...
I'm having a great time over here, guys.
You need one of those big foam hands, like foam fingers. Whenever Agent of Treachery appears, you can just like wave your foam hand in the air.
I apologize for chat because I'm clearly having way too much fun over here. All these crazy things that we're doing to our poor fellow caster and Lady of the Crease. Oh, we're just doing some.
I mean, you've got to admire the deck in action though. Like this, it did take a while for the build to kind of settle a bit more. Well, by a while I mean like a week. But this is incredibly masterful showing there, and Lady of the Crease is going to scoop it up for game 1. So turning now to the board.
I just wanted to quickly highlight, the Shatter played a role. The Shatter did do something, but the corner was turned a little later, and it was turned through those powerful spells as opposed to just sweeping and winning, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Like, we needed to do more things after that sweeper. The sweeper put 4 1-1s into play. Anyway, sideboarding. Probably not a deep sideboard because, we just have, you have aggro cards in your sideboard. You bring them in, pretty much end of discussion. Narsets are mostly my cutting of choice in this situation, but...
Yeah, I believe we just saw the 2 Devout Decrees come in, and then... Oh, maybe there
was a red omen somewhere.
A red omen, and then...
this is a current 5. We have 5 cards in our hand and 2 Agent of Treacheries. So, I don't know. This is our 5.
Not ideal. This is the 5?
I was joking, but also
no,
this is the 5.
This is the 5.
So, I guess you do keep this and put 2 agents on the bottom, but it's a little scurry. Oh, no, wait.
Oh, no. This is
6.
Wait.
My bad.
It was confusing because it said you will return 2 cards to the bottom of your library.
So I got
confused. I don't know why it said that. That was weird.
Mixed up.
Unacceptable. Have you ever Tails ended someone's Yorion trigger to return their permanent? Wow.
I have not.
Big brain plays from Melly there.
Melly.
That I hadn't even thought about doing.
I'm
that,
in.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So Tails End, just to clarify, is a spell that says counter target activated ability, triggered ability, or legendary spell, and the return on Yorion is a trigger. So, haha.
I didn't realize it was a trigger. I thought it was one of those until.
Well, I'm not actually sure, but I assume with Melly saying it works, I assumed it worked.
Yeah.
I never get too deep into the magic debates. Like layers, no, can't deal with the layers.
Yeah, layers is like the point at which you're like, this is too far.
Yeah, I let people tell me if it works. So.
Yeah. So early turns of this game pretty much playing out as expected. A couple of 1-drops there from Lady of the Crease, followed up by Anax. The early turns for emmaskyeward playing some tap lands. That opening hand Devout Decree finding a great target there in Anax. And probably just setting up the next few turns now with Fires of Invention in hand as well.
Yeah, this was great. It's looking pretty scary. 2 1-drops on an Annex that's turning back into 4 1-1s if you get a Wrath. But just kidding. Devout Decree cleans up that Annex, gets us going. We're treading water here, but we're doing okay. Hopefully our Narset finds something good, or we draw something great.
12 life is a little bit on the
that castle
dangerous side with as you say with Castle Embereth activating as well. Castle Ardenville the draw, and then let's see what this Narset.
We're in danger zone. Luckily without Annex we were doing okay, but now Imagine if Annex was still in play, I think we'd be dead. But
we would be very dead if Annex was still in play. So Devout Decree is going to be the spell that is searched for by Narset. I still think of that as a search trigger because Search for Scanter needs to come back into Standard and also every other format. I suppose it is in
wow. Okay.
Overwatch is going to come down now.
GG for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, so sitting now just at 1 life.
I guess a Wrath would have saved us, but we don't have one, so...
Can Narset minus still?
Yeah, oh, yes. So thank you. Sorry, I forgot about that.
But unfortunately, just Teferi, and with... But I believe that no spells have been played yet this turn, so...
Yeah, but we can only go ECD Devout Decree, and that still leaves one creature attacking.
But then we have a Shock Typhoon to... Oh, but it can't be blocked.
No, but yeah, we have to get rid of the Scorch Spitter. Like with the Devout Decree, we have to get rid of Scorch Spitter, and so Tin Streak can just get in.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we think... we think that there aren't outs anymore. Maybe if Yorion flickers Omen of this... No, that doesn't work.
And unfortunately, it doesn't work either. You know, it is sort of frustrating if you look at it. We've got 2 great spells in our hand and a Shark Typhoon, and we still die. It's kind of brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty... I mean, that's kind of the power of this Obosh double damage thing. Like, if you are under 10 life, it's just not enough of a buff.
It's just not enough.
It's not enough. Yeah,
Emma could have lived this turn. If we had played... No, we had to play the tap plan because we didn't have any life. Not seen it. Maybe it involves Yorion.
Yeah, maybe Mani has some next level plays.
Okay. Mani's got the line. So it's by decreeing the Dodger, Teferi bouncing the Scorcher, and Shark to block the Obosh. That's how you survive this turn.
Right.
Fortunately, that didn't happen. I also didn't, we didn't see it over here in the booth. It doesn't necessarily progress you very forward either, so to see.
Yeah, I mean,
those are not great words in a row, but
well, I mean, not dying that turn still leaves you in a pretty precarious position with 1 life against the mono red deck. So going down to game number 3, no changes to the sideboard, I believe. And opening hand, 4 lands, Teferi, Fires, and a Shark Typhoon.
Overall, this is a decent hand. It's a little terrifying against mono red, but hopefully Teferi bounces that NX on turn 3 and slows the mood down a little bit. Maybe a Shark Typhoon can come in and do some trading in a little bit too. We'll see, but we do need to draw some action. Some action needs to be had on Emma's side for sure.
All right, so Castle Annabelle off the top there on turn number 2. Grim Initiate was the 1-drop out of Nicole's deck, and let's see. So
we might be on a 1-lander for Lady.
Oh.
Yeah, we are.
That is what it looks like right now.
Oh, no, we got tricked. No. Nicole, you tricked us.
It was just the make the caster sweat a little until...
So I will say I was sort of tempted.
Now the draw for Emma Skyward. Pretty...
I was just going to say I was sort of tempted to draw a card at the end of Nicole's turn with Shark Typhoon, just because her hand is kind of lackluster and we're not cycling that for a creature for a while, because we're going to play Fires next turn, and we were going to play a 3-drop on turn 3. So I was sort of tempted to get an extra card to get some more information, but I understand that it's pretty brutal to throw away your spell. So also, unfortunately, pour one out for young Narset. Did whiff, and not just whiff in terms of like, maybe like a creature by accident or something. 4 lands, just true whiff.
Actually, so from my perspective, if you see 4 lands off Narset, it's no longer a whiff. It's a thank goodness I didn't have to draw those 4 lands.
That's true.
Chandra, Acolyte of Flame, baby Chandra there coming down, making those 2 1/1s. Shatter the Sky, straight off the top.
I know,
unfortunately,
but
that Chandra. Sorry,
Chandra's tricky. No, I didn't have anything
tricky.
to say. Didn't have anything to say. Do we get to? Oh no, Narset's at 1. Okay.
Yeah, Narset had wait, is Narset at 1?
Yeah, because I got attacked for 2.
I see. That makes sense.
So Teferi went up. It's at 5. There is technically 4 damage that can be dealt to it. Oh, Emma, I love it. No, I think it's great. Emma's commenting that she waves her cards around when she's thinking, and I'm so in for it. I can like follow your line of thoughts when you do that, so that's super sweet.
Yeah, it's actually helpful to us a lot. Castle Embereth is a pretty big play on this card, with these 1/1s being made by Chandra, Acolyte of Flame. Interesting to see whether the Planeswalkers do get taken out, or whether this 8 damage is going straight to face.
It's pretty risky not to take them out because of Yorion. However, 8 damage is a 2-turn clock, so it's sort of understanding if you would want to just take out 8 life points on your opponent, and that is what's happening here.
Yep. So presumably we are going to see that Castle Embereth getting activated. We do know that Emma has that Shatter in hand, but with Chandra still sat on the battlefield.
So here's our plan. We're going to untap and we're going to draw ECD. Darn it. I was too slow.
I was thinking, she's going to say ECD, and she's big. And of course, Emma will draw it because Caroline is famously a Tron player that just draws the exact cards that she needs.
I was a little too slow on that one for sure. So our Teferi is at 5, right? So we can bounce the Griminish. No, we want a Wrath. Do we want a Wrath? I don't know. There's so many choices, and Emma is thinking as well.
I think. Oh yeah, waving that Shatter around.
But remember, Wrathing here literally removes 1 creature.
Oh, because of the amass.
I know. You can bounce it with Teferi. Yeah.
Okay.
So now we Yorion. Okay, I guess things are not. We Yorion, and we get to make either a 1/1 or a 3/3 shark. So we're okay. We're doing okay.
Okay.
We're doing. You're just. You're whispering to yourself as you're in danger. You're like, we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
You're like the person in a disaster movie trying to like dodge all the different shots firing from different places. Like, we're okay.
We're okay. Actually, we really are doing okay because we are going to get to kill the Chandra, in theory, which will definitely stabilize us a lot. Yeah, with the Yorion attack. Still doing okay. No, we're still okay. We're still okay. There's some damage coming through, but it's okay. Oh, guys, we really made it. We got a bot in chat. We made it. Oh, what about if we wanted to do that, Anna? Just kidding. Okay, so let's take some damage. I think we make a 3/3 shark here, in my opinion. But so still coming at us. Good, consistent. Okay, we did just make a 1/1. So maybe we have plans like casting the shark.
Yeah, just go for the 1/1 instead of the.
Oh my gosh, are we gonna cast the Shark Typhoon?
Wow, I have not seen anybody.
I sat back up in my chair.
I have not seen anyone cast it.
I'm excited.
I've not seen anybody cast the Shark Typhoon.
Well,
in standard.
On this turn, even if we whiffed on Narset, we would just go like Shark Typhoon, cast a second fire. There's a 4/4. Like,
I mean, that is true. Okay, so Narset is going to find Birth of Meletus. We are back.
Yeah, bouncing.
Okay. Very
bounced it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hayu, I can sense it.
What can you sense, Caroline?
We're gonna cast it. Yes.
Oh
yes! Love it.
Wow.
Yes.
The hidden mode on Shark Typhoon, the enchantment that you can actually cast.
Oh, many sharks.
Okay.
And once again, I believe. Go ahead.
I was going to say a 2/2 isn't necessarily a baby. I mean, I guess it's still a baby.
Well, I don't know. There's like humans that are 2/2s in this. Like Thalia's a 2/1. Oh man, this made my night. And we also have turned the corner. I would like to announce to the world our corner has been turned.
The corner has been turned. You've swiveled the steering wheel all the way around, and now it's plain sailing from here. Phoenix Bash is going to come down. That baby shark going to jump in front of the Phoenix, delay its attacking power for a little while.
So choice here to draw a card versus make a 1/1. Reasonable choice. Valuing a card over a 1/1 in this spot, and I think that, because the corner was turned, I think that's totally fine. But tricky to think about for sure. 4/4 shark, anybody? 4/4 shark, do 4/4 shark.
Oh my god!
Why did I even say I get one? Obviously,
I didn't even say that. It was like such an obvious lie.
Oh, to blink. We get to blink Yorion soon for what it's worth.
We get to blink Yorion soon. That's a very in hand, and also the Devout Decree there for protection against the Phoenix of Ash or the Legion Warboss, or really any creature that could come out of Lady of the Crease's deck. If you are playing the Obosh deck here, what are your hopes, dreams?
At this point, or in the beginning of the match?
No. What at this point? Like, what is there anything that can be done?
I don't like being so pessimistic, but I don't think so. Anna went for the full savage and said disconnect. I assume meaning opponent. Ooh, second shark food.
Do you think cast? Yes.
Emma, you're my new best friend. We're so friends now. I'm so excited. Yes.
2 shark types now in play for Emmaskyeward. Let's see whether gonna make double 3/3 sharks here with the second Teferia, or whether maybe that Devout Decree is just going to take out the Phoenix for safety.
Yeah, no, plays for sure. You know what the Devout Decree does? Makes 2 2/2s.
I was like, are you testing me on the text on cards? Oh my god, this is insane.
I've never had so much fun ever. Also, Emma, I hope you were streaming, because I'm pretty sure there's an achievement in stream elements for all these sharks. Right? I think it's 6 sharks. I'm not sure.
Oh, when we're so close. I mean, there's definitely as long as
if it was 6. I don't know if it was 6 different number sharks. Like, I don't know if you had to have a 1/1, a 2/2, a 3/3. I couldn't remember, but I know that it was definitely an achievement if you had a bunch of sharks.
That's pretty cool.
And there's
there is the scoop there. So Emmaskyeward taking it down in 2 games to 1 in 3 games in total. Wow, is all I can say about that last game. We were so scared. Like, there was that one turn where I believe Emmaskyeward was all the way down to 4 life. Is that right?
Yep.
And things were looking very dire. But then that whole sequence of plays was just overwhelmingly effective.
There's some serious important conversation going on in chat about what a group of sharks is called. Options range from fleet to school to tornado to flock. Cast your vote. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a flock. Flock is for sheep.
Maybe they're flying sheep.
Flying sheep. I would like to see some flying sheep. I think a flying sheep would probably be a very comfortable animal to ride. Because, like, it flies, but also it's fluffy.
Where are you holding on to?
Flock is for birds. Flock is for some birds. Flying sharks are basically birds. I think we're going to need to have some biology lessons sent electronically over to Marnie because a flying shark is not basically a bird. It's still a fish.
Okay, I have the answer, chat. Since we went down this rabbit hole, a group of sharks is called a gam, a herd, a frenzy, a school, which was already said, or a shiver, which is my favorite. So there was a shiver of sharks in that last match.
Well, let's just decide that it's definitely shiver because that's the
definitely
best
shiver.
The frenzy was also quite good. Frenzy of sharks.
It was quite a frenzy, actually. I was in a frenzy. I literally was like, a third shark typhoon.
Frenzy just describes the emotions that you feel when you witness a group of sharks, especially when they're all up in the air and or on your side of the battlefield.
Well, the great news is we're all 2 matches in, which means we have 2 more to go. So we should go to the next slides.
Yeah, let's go to the next match. I promise you it's not another looker deck. So we are going to go down to our 3rd match now. Have a look at the deck list here. So first up, we've got Natalie. Their screen name is bigstuffedcat. And this is a spicer, Caroline.
Oh, I know. I picked this match. Oh, I know.
The 4 copies of... Okay, so let's just take this build apart. Not build apart, but let's just have a look at the pieces. So we have cat, oven, and trail of crumbs. Right? So those are the parts that we're familiar with. Cat, goose, oven, trail of crumbs, the food package. Then we've got some exciting new cards from Ikoria. We've got 3 copies of Chevel. How are we going to pronounce this? Is it Chevel?
I'm going to say whatever you say, but the opposite.
Okay.
So I'll go with Chevel.
You go with Chevel, I'll go with Chevel.
Nice.
And then Chevel Bane of Monsters, which is the Golgari Human Mythic from this set. 4 copies of Fiend Artisan. And the Companion, which is Lurus of the Dreams. I have literally no idea how this deck is going to play out. I'm assuming some kind of melee, get creatures, food value.
I have no idea. I picked it because I wanted to find out. I imagine this will play... So I will say that this is going to play similar to the week 1 mono black or white or black white Luros deck, aka just playing a lot of your spells over and over again using Luros. This version goes further into green and supports Fiend Artisan a little bit more, and does a little bit more graveyard recursion as opposed to there was the white version played like some drain effects. So this is likely winning more through combat damage, less through playing and stacking all your creatures. So different synergies, but you have a ton of 1-drops, a ton of 2-drops, and nothing else because of Luros. And you have some removal spells in Assassin's Trophy and Deadweight. So you're definitely going to just continuously... Oh, you have Trail of Crumbs too. So you are just getting value after value after value. And you have the Binding of the Titans, also a huge value graveyard-based card. We're going to see the same things just recycling through our deck, and I'm really excited. It is actually why I picked it. It was asked in chat how we decide the matches, which we talked a little bit earlier, but the main thing is because everyone has a week to play, we have time to go through the deck list, and we don't pick based on results. We pick based on what we think will be fun to watch, and so we go through and look at the deck list. And this was, for this division, I was in charge of Division 2, and I was like, yep, we got someone who's going by the name bigstuffedcat, playing a bunch of kitties. I'm in. Let's go. This was an easy pick for my division, for this division for sure. So cool. What are we playing against? Oh, I know this person. So we have Chantelle on, again, not a Luca Fires deck, which is super sweet, but she is playing Luca, or she is playing Fires, not Luca.
She is.
In her deck.
Fires. Yeah. So this is a group. Sorry, Caroline. My audio cut out for a second.
I figured. Yeah.
I thought we messed up. Yeah. So we are going to see 4 copies of Fire's Invention. This is actually a Kahira deck. So all of the creatures in the deck are one of those 4 or 5 creature types. Wait, I'm going to try and name them. Cat.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. You're right so
Cat,
far.
Nightmare, Beast, Elemental. That's all I know.
Dinosaur.
Maybe Dinosaur. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Obviously Dinosaur. You. How embarrassing for you not to know those random 4 things that aren't connected in any way.
Wow, I feel told.
No, but look here. Okay, I love magic. Magic's great, but seriously, how are those 4 things related? I don't even get it.
They're all weird creatures that people like. I think that's basically the criteria that they chose. Yeah. Creatures that people like. Why do we?
You were naming Kahira, and I was like, no, Hayu, it's a Karuga deck, but I got confused because there's actually just a Karuga in our main deck. And
there's a Karuga.
I'm curious to know, and I didn't see Chantelle around. I'd love to know if there's ever been a time where Chantelle does a switcheroo. So Karuga says you can't play CMC 3 or 2 or less, basically, so 3 or greater. And the only low creature types I see or converted mana costs I see is arboreal grazers. So I think the deck lists are kind of fuzzy, so I'm guessing. Oh, and Fire Prophecy. Yeah, it is. So if we side out Arboreal Grazer and Fire Prophecy, we could be a Karuga deck, right?
It could be a Karuga. Yeah, absolutely. I believe so. I don't know how to do it on Arena, and presumably it can be done. But that is pretty cool. That
must be hard. Yeah. Yeah. On Moto, it's easy because you just select which one you want to present.
Yeah.
Oh, that is fascinating.
Yeah, it's weird. All right, let's jump down into the match and see how these decks play out. We are going to keep an eye out, obviously, for those copies of Embercleave as well. And we have hand cams. Awesome.
We have hand cams, but we are bringing you a slightly micro version of the match this time, which is a little smaller than usual. And maybe, because I complained, magic might happen. Who knows?
So we are going to see Natalie keep their 6 and throw one of the cards back. Tillman Cat and 2 ovens in the hand for Natalie. For Chantelle, I can't quite see what that land is there right at the bottom. Think it's a blast zone. Yeah, I believe it's a blast zone, and unfortunately no red mana right now for Chantelle. Oh, no, it's the Bonder's Enclave.
Can anyone else hear that? Because I have a pretty directional mic, so you may not be able to hear it. But there is some mad thunder lightning going outside my window right now.
Oh, really?
That last one really made my heart flutter, yeah. It was really loud.
I couldn't hear it, but I am having audio issues, so it might be that I can't hear it right now. It is a beautifully sunny day here in Vancouver, BC, as we do see the Cauldron Familiar chipping in for Natalie, and Crawl Harpooner now coming down on their side of the battlefield, but obviously no birds / flying creatures to harpoon. Thrashy Bee, good old Thrashy Bee, joining the party for Chantelle.
Yeah, so a little bit about this Gruul Fires deck, and hopefully I'm correct, but Chantelle, there's a local player in Chantelle's area, or at least in province, Carson, that played the deck to some success, has been iterating on it and providing some insight on sideboarding and stuff as well. And I think I fell in love with the deck as well, but I know Chantelle particularly fell in love with it and was like, you know what? I'm just going to Gruul smash. And I've power to you. I think that's great. One of my favorite things coming up is that Arboreal Grazer can attack in this deck, and it is glorious. I played exactly one match.
You're telling me Arboreal Grazer doesn't have Defender?
Does not. That's ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Yes. I played one match and wrote in my Discord that was like, game over. I got to attack with Arboreal Grazer. I am never playing anything else ever again.
Oh my god. And I believe Arboreal Grazer can even wear an Embercleave.
Oh, can it ever? Wears it pretty well, to be honest. Oh, man. So, I will say, unfortunately, all of our current creatures on Chantelle's side do get blocked by a cat pretty well. And Natalie has done a pretty good job just setting up a very consistently, 3 ovens, 1 cat turn.
Yeah, the 3 ovens is pretty insane in terms of the
guys. It's really spooky. We did draw one trample threat, so Ceratops can gather some trample. So that's going to help us close this out. We do have another trampler in our hand as well. Unfortunately, while we are playing Girl Fire, Chantelle may have forgotten to add mountains. That's a joke.
Oh no, she definitely. But pretty unfortunate that she hasn't managed to find any of her red mana. Cruel Harpooner going to jump in front of Kahira for the trade, while more cats get cycled. I thought we had left this era of Magic behind, where game actions were being taken almost to a willy-nilly degree.
We do, so it's pretty interesting. Life totals are pretty high for our Natalie, but we do have the Thrashing Brontodon, and it's an interesting choice on whether or not we should use this opportunity to take out something. Taking out an oven is probably not very productive because there's 3 of them, but that Trail of Crumbs might be a juicy target, and I don't think we're winning this game through damage right now. Like, we need to get some work in, and it's something to consider. Like, on that turn, to think we had a mana up, we had a Brontodon activation, we had an open.
It is interesting to think about that, but also with Lurus being the companion on the other side of the battlefield, kind of sacking a Thrashing Brontodon to kill a Trail of Crumbs that can just get replayed feels a bit.
Right. No, that is a good point. It's pretty tricky. It's just like looking at our hand, we're not casting any of our spells for quite some time. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to draw Mountain and then Fires even to get a likelihood of casting any of these spells, or double Mountain for the Crusher. So we're in a pretty rough spot. It was just something to think about.
Absolutely.
But honestly, we're gonna die these cats. So it's
these with 3 ovens cats. And now 2 cats going on. It's just only a matter of time or of clicks. Another basic forest off the top. Gonna draw a card. Unfortunately, Questing Beast not able to come down. And that is going to do it for game 1. So pretty sad to see no red mana being found there for Chantelle. Let's have a look at the sideboard. It's kind of weird when you come up against these non-meta decks that, a lot of the time you feel like your sideboard doesn't necessarily have the specific helpful answers. Although I guess Grafdigger's Cage pretty important here.
Well, no, I actually super like Chantelle's sideboard. There's been with Luca Fires being kind of all the attention and all the rage, there hasn't been a ton of focus on this, but there are two 2-mana red burn spells in this format right now. There's Fire Prophecy and Scorching Dragonfire, and they both have very different benefits. Fire Prophecy, I think, just in a vacuum is a much better card because you get it's like essentially like a draw card sort of. Or like a loot. But Scorching Dragonfire is still really good against cats. Not every time. In a perfect world, like they try and protect their cat by not playing it out too early. But it is something to consider. Like because it exiles the cat, right? Like that's something we don't always have access to in our sideboard, and it's pretty cool that Chantelle actually has both. She has 2 Scorching Dragonfires in her deck, in her main deck. Nope, sorry, in her sideboard, and 2 2 Fire Prophecies in her main deck.
All right.
So hopefully we can see a thing where we put together some Scorching Dragonfires on our opponent's cats.
Absolutely, and we are seeing some of those sideboard cards come into play now. Opening hand for Chantelle with 2 dual lands. So nice to see both colors of mana there. Scorching Dragonfire and Grafdigger's Cage both in hand. Cauldron Familiar coming down now. We are going to see the Stomping Ground getting shocked, and as predicted, the Dragonfire exiling that cat. For Natalie, we have got Shevel, Bane of... now I started saying Shevel. Shevel, Bane of Monsters, which has a lot of text on it. A lot of text. I'm not going to attempt to recite all of the text on Shovel Bane of Monsters. Am I speaking into the void, or is Are you here, Caroline?
No, you're good.
Okay, good. I believe Shovel does have Death Touch. So...
Who knows what Shovel does? Let me see.
So Shovel is a 1/3, and that's all I know so far.
So the Death Touch...
Is that in your upkeep you put a bounty counter on a creature, and whenever a creature with a bounty counter dies, you draw a card, I believe.
And there's the last ability too. When a permanent your opponent controls... Oh, never mind, you're right, you just read it. Okay. For some reason it looked like a trigger went off, so I was confused. Was there a bounty counter on the Kira?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, cool. Okay. You know what's better than one Grafdigger's Cage? Not two Grafdigger's Cage. Unfortunately.
Yeah, pretty annoying to draw that second copy.
Oh, wait. Oh, we're gonna get to eat a cat. It was gonna get to eat. We were not anymore though. Well,
how are we gonna get it to eat a cat?
Scorching Dragonfire XLs.
Oh, yes, but with the Grafdigger's Cages, they can't come into play from the graveyard.
And that's true. But they can. Oh no, I guess we're not playing. Okay, never mind. We're not playing the 3-mana black-red card that pings, because you could still get into a spot where the cat can try and come back and sack a bunch of food, but I guess we're not. So we're not Mayhem Deviling anymore.
Yeah, I think the Mayhem Devil, not in this deck. So we are going to see Priest of the Forgotten Gods activate in response to that, the second Shovel being targeted with the Dragonfire. Thrashy B gonna sacrifice itself to take out the Trail of Crumbs in response. And now we're back to a relatively empty board. Let's see if Chantelle can find that fourth land to play the Fires of Invention that is in hand. Otherwise,
mana has been a fickle friend for Chantelle, unfortunately. We are gonna. This Priest of the Forgotten Gods is going to move us along. That's for sure.
Oh, the second fire is not the card that Chantelle wanted to see off the top of the library. And now Natalie has plenty of space to rebuild. You know, the board that had been cleared by the sequence of plays that had happened before with the Thrashing Broadstone.
Interestingly enough, both players had the same amount of lands in play. But when your deck only consists of 1 or 2 CMC and your deck consists of 5 CMCs of mana, it's a little worse for the wear, unfortunately. But who knows? A land off the top might get some big friends into play.
Some big friends. Some big boys. When the set was spoiled, and all the way until the first time I actually saw the card in a draft, I thought Quartzwood Crasher was 6 mana, and then it was pointed out to me that right, it looks like it should be 6 mana, but no,
it looks like it's 6 mana.
It's only 5 mana. It's insane.
Luros has come to play. Unfortunately, no cool benefits from Luros. Here we go. Big friends.
Okay, so now we have the fires. We have 3 big friends in the hand. Quartzwood Crasher gonna come down.
I would like to play the Quartzwood Crasher and the Cavalier Flames and attack with
the Crasher.
We can afford to attack. I'm not sure.
I think the Crasher, because it makes a body when it hits.
Yeah, cat.
That's like a free attack. Okay, so no fear, full swing with the team there. Natalie is pretty, wow. Natalie was at 29 life and has been knocked all the way down to 13, and an 8/8 now being made because of that pump on the Cavalier of Flame. So not the grass.
This is actually
is it lethal?
Close to lethal. No, it's 1 off lethal. Right, because Priest goes down to 1. The cats can't come back.
Right. Yeah.
If there was a cat in hand, it would be lethal. But.
Yeah. So Priest is going to.
I think we sack the Crasher.
Yeah.
How much damage are we doing next turn? So if we draw a big creature, is that lethal? So it's 6, 12.
I believe
14, 16. So we need a creature.
Yes, I believe with a creature. Oh,
that
Maya's
makes
Grasp.
it trickier.
Yeah. And
we were super close, actually.
Yeah, because without that even with the Maya's Grasp, I believe one big creature.
Yeah, I think so, right?
Could have gotten there.
Let's see how much damage this is.
Yeah,
so this is 6 plus 9 is 15. So yeah, basically anything.
Oh, so close.
Yeah,
and actually, even without the Maya's Grasp, even without the second creature, it would have.
Oh, because of the land. Because I calculated.
Yeah, because of the land.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, so exact sees there from the Feast of the Forgotten Gods. So unfortunately for Chantelle, a quick defeat in 2 games, beset with mana issues throughout this match. But
there were definitely mana issues, but I will say Chantelle did recover. Like that end of that match got really close.
Really close.
Yeah, it got really interesting.
And that's just, I mean, it just goes to show the power of this Gruul deck. Like, the amount of damage that it can put out is pretty insane.
We're ghosts. Just hit your Skype. Just touch your Skype a little bit. Okay, I don't know then. Anyway.
Okay.
I can describe you. I have a head, and I have shoulders, and I have elbows, and I'm waving at the camera. There you go. Now you have a perfect idea of what I look like.
I have none of those things, and I'm a disembodied voice behind a black screen. Maybe I've been in a simulation all along. How exciting would that be? So, like I was saying, this Gruul deck just, I mean, from an empty board to lethal damage in like a turn. It was pretty insane, Caroline. Like, because don't forget, Natalie was at 29 life when the first hit came from the Cavalier of Flames and the Corpseful Crasher. If they hadn't gained that much life from all the shenanigans, then it would be a very different outcome for that game in particular. But very well done to Natalie for bringing that awesome food build and getting to do all the things. I'm sad we didn't get to see some Fiend Artisan action, but maybe in a later installment of the VML. So let's have a look now at our 4th and final match of the evening.
Oh, do we have to? Do we have to end?
I mean, all good things have to come to an end, unfortunately. And we are back on our Jeskai Locker Fires brackets Yorion.
Back on our bullshit.
Back on our bullshit.
It's after 9 somewhere. It's fine.
Okay. You can tell everyone a bit more about this particular flex slot of Elspeth Sun's Nemesis, but what I really appreciate that Mythic Michaela put is that her favorite creature type is Jellyfish Hydra Beast, which is definitely one of my favorite creature types, possibly second only to Cat Dinosaur.
So we're looking at Mythic Michaela, E-League competitor, Mythic Michaela. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, because of the way our world is set up, we do submit deck lists kind of early. We actually submitted these on Monday of this week. And so Michaela has submitted a deck list after that for E-League, and it actually is quite different. You bring up the Elspeth Conquers Death. It was, a tech from the weekend. It showed up in a few decks, and so it was like, hey, why not? You'll also notice there's a lot more blue mythos than there usually are as well in this list. And meta changes. Omen of the Sun. Nope. Omen of the Forge is still around. Later on in the week, Glass Casket became kind of a more, aggro killer of choice. So just. Things change. Is basically, the moral of the story is things and meta and decks change. And even just playing Monday to Friday, this deck has changed a bunch since then. Just kind of crazy.
That is crazy. And that's, really the emblematic pattern of modern Magic. And by modern Magic, I mean contemporary Magic in the days of Magic Arena. Like, back back in the day, not even back in the day, like even a year or two ago, there was no way that back in my day, you are obviously much more of an experienced Magic player than I am, but even when I started playing like 2 or 3 years ago, it was not, a deck would not change from Monday to Friday. It would maybe change, a little bit, a few cards here and there, or from tournament to tournament, you would see, some of these evolutions, but now decks are changing once every half a day.
So there's actually a pretty interesting thing about that, because we're watching a deck list for Luca Fires, which if you aren't following Standard too closely, this deck achieves something that I think will never, ever be possible in paper, no matter how into Magic people get. It just will never happen. This deck was, to my knowledge, it existed, on some people's accounts, that's fine. But it got mainstreamed on a major streamer's account on Wednesday. I know it's a Wednesday because I messaged it to Hayu 20 minutes before a tournament we were both going to play in. We both ended up registering it because it looked hilarious and fun.
Yeah.
So we're like, hey, try this new deck. So Wednesday happened. And then Saturday was one of those Magic Fest onlines, and it was 20% of the meta. In 3 days, it went from not being a deck that people even knew existed, except for maybe a few people that were playing it, to 20% of the meta, which will just never, ever, ever happen in paper. It just can't. People are not going to spend that much money. A Grand Prix at 1,000 people. There's just no way that 200 people are going to just randomly buy a deck from Wednesday to Saturday. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
But
from Wednesday, that's insane.
But you were saying Magic has changed. Arena is that reason, and I personally think it's great. I think it's super great that you can build the Jeskai deck. It goes well for a couple of weeks, and then next, after that, you build something else. It's not great if you're playing a free-to-play account. I understand that can have some restraints. Maybe feeling a little locked out of the meta, depending on, what you end up crafting. But for me, I enjoy being able to just switch decks in between matches. I wouldn't be able to do that even on Moto. So,
I mean, it's interesting you say that about that, because, I'm a free-to-play account, and to be fair, I make a lot of profit in drafts, so that's, a bit different because that's my main focus. But in terms of these decks, I know these decks are innovative, they are new, they are changing all the time. But if you look at this deck, the structure of this deck has been around for months. The fires, and not just in terms of wild cards, obviously the lands are really the big thing. Obviously there are new lands coming in all the time, but the shock lands have been around for a while now. Fabled Passage has been around for a while. So, in terms of people actually being able to collect these decks, even though the meta is changing all the time, I think it's pretty cool that actually a lot of these, a lot of people are able to utilize a lot of the cards that they've had. It's not like in the days when decks would get banned or this and that, and if you had a deck in paper and it got banned, it was basically, a horrible feeling.
Yeah, no, I Arena has definitely been a bit of a game changer. So let's we've seen just Luca Fire.
Yeah, we've seen this deck. Let's
go
have a look at Jen's deck. So Jen is playing the Obosh Mono Red aggro build. She heard a rumor that it was maybe favored against the Luca Fires build, but we'll see whether that does transpire to be the case. The main deck does seem pretty similar to what we saw before with oh my god, I'm having a complete break. Nicole's deck. Thank you. Thanks for that. The sideboard, though, is very different. That's what's really striking me. 4 copies of Unchained Berserker, 3 copies of Experimental Frenzy in the side.
So, just a note, if you bring an Experimental Frenzy, you are not having access to Obosh. Just a heads up. And same with most of our sideboard.
Berserker.
All of our sideboard. Well, we also have Scorching Dragonfire.
Also Scorching Dragonfire. That is also a 2-drop.
So yeah, I have not actually seen. So I don't know how this plays out. But I have not seen a mono red sideboard that gives up on Obosh like this, and I'm super, super curious to see how this goes, because The Unchained Berserker is really good against Deafening Clarion, but I'm not even certain that there are 2 in Michaela's sideboard. So I don't even know if you bring it in. It's pretty interesting because it doesn't work against Shatter. Shatter destroys everything. So interesting. I want to see how this plays out for sure.
All right, let's go down to the match. We are going to this.
Oh, Jen has a great photo.
I love that.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, we are going to see it from the point of view of.
I think we're see both.
Oh yeah, we have hand cam.
But we are a little small again. That's okay. But every time I complain, magic happens and it gets fixed. So that's kind of I must be so powerful. Is basically the conclusion I've made.
When Caroline says magic happens, what she means is that our lovely producer Phoebe actually puts quite a lot of work in catering to every whim of Caroline's that she expresses on the stream. Yeah, Tip Street Dodger coming down on turn 1 and turn 2. Go ahead, Caroline.
No, this is great. I was only going to tell everyone that Jen's photo is super sweet because these are custom jerseys that Jen, Chantelle, and I got made that we'll never get to wear ever again. It's really sad.
Oh my god, you had them made for Seattle.
Yeah, these are our Team Crop Top Elites jerseys. And I'm so sad.
God. First of all, why are they not crop tops?
I vetoed that so quickly.
All right, so turn 3 now for Michaela. Teferi Time Raveler going to come down. Are you supposed to bounce here, or are you supposed to go up?
You're supposed to bounce. Like you're up a card. You're mini tempo. It is the third turn, right? So third turn usually means a 3-drop, and if you bounce a 1-drop, it does mean that they have to play a little differently. Unfortunately, the banner, as previously mentioned when we were watching Nicole's deck, it's such a cool addition to this deck because it sort of stops that. Cool. It's like, sweet, I develop my mana and still play my 1/1.
Yeah.
But
this card is really sick in this deck. And as you say, getting to skip that turn 4. Second Teferi coming down now. Probably
you're in a lot of trouble. I think we have to bounce a 1/1 again. Or 2/1, I guess, in this case. So the first 5 turns for Jeskai Luca Fires versus the mono red are heart wrenching. You're just like, can we survive? Can we survive? But once we survive, things, we get to play 3 Shark Typhoons and we have a great time. Right now, Michaela's hand is not looking the best to survive, but we're not Dobbs on the next. We have we still have a line draft to make. So we have Elspeth Conquers Death for the Obosh and maybe even for a banner later. We're doing okay. Okay, we decided to bounce the banner. Well, this is super sweet because now we can't play Obosh on this turn.
Oh yeah, to bounce the banner. Yeah.
It isn't going to work out the best because we do get to go
and Shatter the Sky was the draw off that.
Oh,
activation.
Great! Oh, that's so good. Oh wow, good job, Michaela. So the banner does come back down, which was expected, but there is a 1-drop in our hand. So it does actually, we're taking a lot of damage on this turn, but the Shatter has definitely bailed us out.
Yeah.
Maybe we always do need a sweeper. Maybe I was wrong about that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can't. It's not like the sweepers and the
Michaela's going to draw fires.
Need to work together in harmony.
Sorry, I'm just saying it right now.
How did you know? Oh, you don't know. You were just calling. Okay.
I was trying to call out for her. I was going to try.
Nice try there, but Shatter the Sky is going to get a clean 3-for-1. Obviously, none of the creatures big enough to trigger that second condition there. Phoenix of Ash looks like it's going to be
playing the land, Jen.
Yeah, very nice. We are going to light up the stage there.
Run again. Go.
Another light up the stage, the best kind of light up the stage.
Okay, don't go a third
this
time.
Is just perfect.
No, don't go a third time.
Don't go a third time. Grim Initiate now coming down, and Michaela at not very healthy 6 life. We'll see whether.
Oh man, I think it's really tricky because I don't think we can afford to Omen because the Phoenix can just pump so much, or we can get Obosh. So we have to ECD, but like either Obosh or Fervent Champion on this turn, and we're just both are bad. Like, oh wait, could we have just played Obosh too?
This is lethal. This is lethal.
Oh, this is lethal. Okay, it was lethal left.
It was lethal.
Right, and center. So, okay, Jen,
right,
so far game's looking great.
Yeah, so Mono Red taking down that first game pretty short order. Deafening Clarions I do see coming in for Michaela.
Yes. I'm so curious how Jen's sideboard's here. I have not seen a sideboard list like this before, so I'm super curious.
Oh, so we're gonna have to give up the Obosh.
Okay, so she is very aware that you gave up the Obosh. I was worried otherwise. Oh, how is there a way to mess it up? I didn't even know there was a way to mess it up. You have to take it out of that slot. Okay, I didn't know.
I see. Okay, so we are going to see the Scorching Dragonfires come in as well. Not exactly sure what the targets for Scorching. Do they target Planeswalkers?
Wow, if you don't take Obosh out of the slot, it pretends you didn't sideboard. Wow, good thing that she knew that.
Okay.
That's brutal.
That's insane. But yeah, okay, so Obosh is going to come out. We are going to see the 4 copies of Unchained Berserker.
Oh, Scorching Dragonfire hits Planeswalkers.
It doesn't just act like Obosh is illegal. It literally negates your entire sideboarding. That does sound more like a bug than a feature. I mean, it sounds like it should just give you a warning saying this isn't legal, go back. But
I don't know if you heard what I said, but Scorching Dragonfire hits Planeswalkers. That's why it came.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. I think. It should. Yeah, it hits creature or Planeswalker.
So we are going to see that if you're sitting on Michaela's side, I guess deckers are open, right? So it's kind of more expected, but
you're like, where'd the Obosh go?
And yeah, you're like, where's Obosh? What's happening? And then Unchained Berserker is coming in.
This is my favorite mono red turn. Play an Annex. Like, it's just what you do, right? You play an Annex and oh. Okay, or not. Trickery.
Okay. So Phoenix of Ash is going to come down, maybe valuing that haste a bit more than the
does make our Omen look pretty silly. Like, what does it do?
I don't know.
Are we gonna double block? Yeah, we're gonna double block.
We're gonna double block the Grim Initiate. So this does very little. Initiate. Yeah, the Grim Initiate is gonna make a 1/1 as well. Although the 1/1 doesn't get pumped by Heraldic Banner if that ever happens. So maybe that's a thing. Okay, so what do we have for Michaela in hand? We do have a copy of Fires.
So we have Fires into, I mean, some pretty interesting. Well, there's no bangers, but you could just go like Fires into Blue Mythos, copy of Phoenix. You could go Blue Mythos, copy an Omen of the Sun. Like, I think you play a spell this turn. I don't think you can afford not to.
I mean, both of those are kind of suboptimal.
You could Mythos into copy Unchained Berserker.
I mean, that is an answer to Unchained Berserker.
I think you don't need to because you have a Shark Typhoon in your hand, but it is really something to think about if you didn't. It looks like, Michaela is on my, we got to play a spell this turn, and that spell is Blue Mythos. It looks like she's probably deciding what to copy. And she went with Phoenix. Reasonable choice. There were definitely 3 options, and I couldn't weigh them out for you. So we do get to play an Annex, though.
I can never really tell whether you like or hate Annex.
Oh, I love Annex. That's an amazing card. I think it's such a cool card. It was printed and did not rank mono red broken, but it's still a really cool card, and I think that's amazing. It's such a risk, right? Printing this card could really make mono red kind of broken. Like, I'm very impressed with this card a lot.
Yeah, when it first came out, I think one of the things that excited me was about the potential for the Sacrifice deck. Obviously, Sacrifice deck now kind of going in different directions, but the fact that it's so good with Ember Cleave, so good against sweepers, and also so good with random synergies.
Oh,
it's pretty
yes! Good. What a draw!
Oh,
well done, Michaela.
Was that luck off the top there for Michaela?
Well, we get to do some fun things. So we get to go Luca, get an agent, Yorion, flicker agent, flicker Luca, flicker your Omen of the Sun. We get to do it all, Hayu.
That was a very quick sequence of words that you said that did not all come through on the old Skype audio. But okay, so we are going to get Luca, Agent of Treachery, take the Annex,
flicker everything with Yorion.
Flicker everything. So flicker agent.
Yeah.
Omen.
This is a classic turn. Okay. This is a classic Yorion turn.
And then are we going to see? Yeah, no attack. Sorry, I was just saying, are we going to see this Shark Typhoon get cycled as well this turn? Because Michaela did that land.
I think
Agent actually stole a land.
It's right. If you can afford it, I think you should always be stealing lands. You really should only steal spells if you're super stuck. Yeah, you can see that's enough for Jen.
Yeah.
So
that one big time. Yeah.
This is the thing that we're saying, game one went in Jen's favor because she did overpower, but this is sort of what I'm saying. The first couple turns look really favored for red, and then suddenly somehow Jeskai Luca just does these things. You're like, wow, you're so favored now. I mean, in that particular case, it was ripping Luca off the top of the deck, so it's not a guarantee, but it's really interesting because on paper it does look like mono red would be favored.
Are we seeing the
back okay, Dragonfires in our deck, so those have to come out.
Yeah, so Unchained Berserker we didn't like, maybe, and then Scorched Spitters are going to come back in, Dragonfires out.
Wow, we went back to just game one. This is not sideboarded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this configuration won game one, so run it back. Let's take a look at their opening hands here. Jen with the 1-lander, going to throw that back. Michaela with the 0-lander, going to throw that back.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a play draw plan. There was definitely some, not very little thinking, but very little pausing on the plan. So it did seem quite predetermined on what the sideboarding actions would be for Jen for sure. I actually wish Jen was in chat because I'd love to know a little bit more about the not having Obosh and if it matters. I'm so curious about that for sure.
Yeah, it would be nice to hear her thoughts on that. As for what's going on with Michaela's hand, she did keep a 2-lander, but did find that 3rd land off the top, setting her up for this Omen of the Forge into Teferi, into Fire's Shatter kind of sequence. The 2-1 drop out of Jen's deck. We have got a Fervent Champion, we have got Scorched Spitter. Unfortunately, that mulligan on the play is kind of taking a little bit of a toll.
Yeah, so mulligans for mono red are never great. We do have Light Up the Stage, or not in our hand, but as an option. That sort of can bring us back, but unfortunately not in this spot. Ooh, and Omen of the Forge.
Yeah, this hand from Michaela is pretty insane in terms of just the curve out. Presuming, of course, she finds that 4th land in time. But there are a lot of lands in that deck, so there's Hallowed Fountain off the top. Quite a painful mana base. The Lucca deck. Do you ever find yourself in situations where you feel like the shock is just a real price to pay, but you have to pay it?
Shocking with our lands.
Because if you look at this draw now from Michaela, the 2 shock lands, and you want to go 3-4, but it's pretty pretty painful.
Okay. Yeah, it's tricky. Our life total is not high.
It's not high. And you got to not relish the thought of having to shock the Hallowed Fountain as well.
I mean, if we're so if there isn't an annex on this turn, I'm fine with shocking to deal with the shatter, right? Like,
right.
Not shocking means not playing shatter, which is just we just can't afford to do that. Unfortunately, there is this like stomp in hand, so this could be in a bit of trouble.
All right, let's see what Michaela does decide. This is very close. I feel very tense about this.
Yeah, so
the outcome of this one.
Let's see. So if we went to Fairy, bounce Scorch Bitter one more time, what happens? Oh, you know what happens? No, there's not enough graveyard cards. Just kidding. I was going to say Phoenix of the Ash might be a consideration. Actually, ironically, sweeping the board could leave us vulnerable to Phoenix. It won't in this particular case because there's only 2 cards plus Phoenix.
Yeah.
But any spell would make Phoenix kind of live. So it's Shatter is sketchy. It's a tough card to play.
Yeah. Now Annex. Jen just drew that Annex 1 turn late, by the way.
I know, yeah. It's unfortunate for sure. So we're at the point of the game where if Fires can consistently play 2 powerful spells to Jen's likely 1 to 2 spells, we are going to pull ahead very quickly. Can we do it in time? We're at a pretty low life total. 6 is a lot lower than we have been in other matches, so we have to be careful. It might just be a time to Yorion and have a blocker plus the shark blocker, which is what we're doing here. So,
okay. So not the most powerful Yorion we've seen, but kind of necessary just to keep Michaela afloat.
This protects us really well from a Phoenix if one was to appear. So this is pretty helpful. So this turn, Jen gets to play 2 spells, but we sort of played like 4.5 spells last turn. Like, who knows how many we actually played? We played a lot. So this is the pull ahead time to shine.
We're standing on the corner of the corner.
Well, I hope we're standing on the play Shark Typhoon from our hand, play Omen of the Sea. That's what I hope is happening. Bounce Yorion, end of discussion. Probably in a better sequence. We can probably bounce Yorion, play Shark Typhoon, play Yorion, play Omen. Yeah, we can do it all. We can do it all. Always just do it all. Okay.
So let's see what happens.
Bounce Yorion.
I do see Michaela hovering over Annex.
Oh, bounce Annex.
I'm going to go for the slightly safer line of...
No one ever wants to have fun with me. No one ever wants to bounce Yorion.
No, this Shark Typhoon might get cast.
Yeah, it's coming. It's fine. Okay, all is forgiven.
Look, you're going to get your sharks, all right? Just chill out. Calm yourself.
Yeah, I think I'm just always tempted to bounce. I'm always tempted to bounce Yorion because it resets to Fairy that allows you to bounce it again. So I'm more aggressive in picking the line because it allows for continuous versions of that line. So there's a temptation. You're like, oh, I don't want to because I can't get the Omen value of the sun. But if you just did it that turn, you could also just do it again next turn. So that's kind of the reason why it's always on my forefront. Like if we can afford to do it, which I think we could have, that's my reason. Is like once you start that chain, you have that chain for a long time unless they interact with Teferi. That's kind of my motivation. It's sort of why I've been bringing it up a lot. I watched the E-League coverage and I noticed that happened a lot more than I had been doing it on when I was testing. And so it made me realize like, hey, what should I be thinking about a little bit more? And that's a line I should be thinking about more is bouncing my Yorion. This is still working out for us. Everything is working, us being Lugofiers. Maybe less so for Jen. Sorry, Jen. We'll see. We get to attack. Maybe. No. Probably not. Ooh, maybe. So, because we cast this Shark Typhoon, I think we're super safe just to trade. Just, get rid of our shark. We're going to get many more sharks. We also do have to be aware of Phoenix of Ash. But again, lots of sharks, lots of options. We should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, It definitely feels like with the Shark Typhoon on the battlefield that it's pretty difficult to overcome that, because it's just hard to imagine Michaela running out of non-creature spells that could produce an advantage and, of course, make the sharks. Bone Crusher Giant gonna trade with the 3/3. Annex making that little the 2/1/1s, of course. Roguish, get out of here. We've done that. We've been through that already today.
You know what's better than one Shark Typhoon, Hayu?
Oh my god. This is what was it? A shiver. A shiver just went down my spine.
Or a frenzy.
Or a frenzy. Yeah, you can be in a frenzy. I'll shiver because it's terrifying.
We should attack with a 2/2, right? Does it changes the clock dramatically? We attack with the 2/2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the 2/2. Yeah,
right? It changes it to a 2-turn clock instead of a 3-turn clock.
Absolutely. Although I think without really very many answers to these flyers, it's kind of difficult. Also, those satyrs can't even block like those 1/1s. So even if it was a ground force, it would be pretty threatening.
Yeah, like on this turn, either Obosh or Phoenix can come down, not both. There's just not enough mana to do that. So you're going to get either attacked by 4 or 5 creatures, and you have 5 blockers. So even if you lost your entire board, you still have 6 power to attack back with. So I think it was a very safe attack for 6. I'm really sad because I didn't get to tell my story because there hasn't been an agent in play since I wanted to tell my story. But I love like styled decks. All my decks are like super styled on Arena because I love it. And right before E-League, I purchased the Agent of Treachery styles so that the whole deck would be style except for Shark Typhoon because it's not available. And then the very next day, the style was on sale.
Yeah.
And I saw it on sale.
It was so funny. I saw it on sale, and I was like, I guess everyone would enjoy this Agent of Treachery style. Yeah.
I was crying. Like you.
Sorry, not to laugh at your.
I was devastated and hilariously laughing. Like it was such a combination of both things. We should block all of these creatures. Please block all of these creatures. We should just block all these creatures. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, we have 1/1s. No, the 1/1s are good. They're definitely good at block.
Don't like where that shark. Well, okay.
Yeah, it would be better probably to.
We're not done yet. We want to make a switcheroo. We'll see. Okay. I mean, you were nitpicking, so it doesn't matter. But seriously, I was devastated, but it was also so funny. I tried tweeting. I tried to get like a cloud tweet going. It didn't work. Nothing was done of it, unfortunately. But it was very funny. And that's actually our match. Yeah,
that was it for that match from Division 3 between Michaela and Jen. Those are all of our matches for this evening. So week 1, a lot of Jeskai Fires, a lot of Looker. Sorry, Marnie. Yeah, a lot of Jeskai Fires, a lot of Looker. We will obviously be keeping an eye on where the metagame is going this week. There are a couple of big tournaments coming up this weekend, Karen.
There are big tournaments coming up. Wait, there are?
Well, there's the qualifier, and then there's the Red Bull that's coming up.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Tonight.
My bad. Tomorrow morning. Okay, so there are. I can definitely go over them. I forgot about them. So in a few hours, there is a tournament which you cannot sign up for anymore. But don't worry, if you play Magic and have any idea of what sleep is not like, you'll probably signed up already. There are 5,000 people signed up for a free Red Bull tournament where prizes go to exactly the top 8 people. There's about $5,000. There's $5,000 in prizes to the top 8 people.
Oh my God.
So if you do a little bit of math, you have an equity of about $1. I was willing to pay people $1 to not play. I'm just saying.
$1 is more than free, so technically it's plus EV.
Sure, I can pay you $1 in retroactive if you'd like, Hayu. All joking aside, if you love Magic and it works for your sleep schedule, you should definitely play an opportunity that's a free tournament for some really sick prizes for top 8. Also, it leads to other tournaments which will take place throughout the year. It's pretty cool. I'm just saying, if it's 1 a.m. for you and you usually don't stay up that late, don't play in this tournament. It will not go in the best.
Well, I mean, yeah. If you're hibananafish and you live in the right time zone, you might
you have to
might have a better of a shot.
You have to prove to me that you're already registered for the tournament, and you will drop if I pay you this $1. Also, I don't have Venmo. Okay, Anna, I definitely.
Wow. Okay, so Caroline has been absolutely destroyed by all these requests for her to pay out $1 for people to not play this tournament. I'm not entirely sure that it's legal to pay people not to play a tournament, even if it is just $1. So the squirrely little legal team, the Magic Police are coming. The legal team that's buzzing away in my ear is telling me we have to not engage in any collusion whatsoever. The Red Bull tournament does seem pretty cool. All? We can hear you now, yeah. Just took the time to slander you a bit. Don't worry.
No, I can hear you the whole time. That's why it's frustrating.
Good.
Okay. That being said, one of my main reasons for presenting the idea of not playing is because tomorrow there's the MIQ, which is the Mythic Invitational Qualifier on Arena, which I believe, while also not playing for a ton of prizes tomorrow, you are playing for a ton of equity in a future tournament that will eventually happen. If you get 10 wins.
There will definitely be a tournament that will definitely happen.
So if you're in this chat and you're registered for both, and your name is Moni, I recommend that you just play one.
Well, you and I both know that Mani is not known for making necessarily all the most responsible and healthy choices in his life/sleep schedule.
That's true. You can join hibananafish at the MIQ or MI eventual. The MI colon eventually happening. And then, if you're not out of whack with your sleep schedule and you're still looking for things to do, there's also a non-standard tournament hosted on MTG Melee this weekend as well. There's basically, long story short, tons of Magic to play. If you're in our league, you also have tons of Magic to play next week because we're going to do it all again. You're going to submit a new deck list by Sunday night. If you're listening, please, Sunday night, listening, yes, Sunday.
That was on my notes to yell at people about. I was like, guys, Sunday, 9 p.m. is the new deck list submission time / it's not new, it's for this whole season. That way we can try and get our deck list published Monday morning first thing, give everyone as much time to prepare as possible.
It also gives us a ton of time to prepare as well.
Yeah. So, and on that note, next week you will probably be joined by Becky and Lady of the Crease, Nicole. They are the casting pair that is scheduled to cast for next week, although because Lady of the Crease is currently, I know she's moving house and Becky's been having computer issues. We hope that they'll be coming to you next week, but there might be a change of plan.
And then, so just a little recap on what this is. You know, you've been around for 3 hours and you're like, wow, what did I just watch? This is an 8-week series, and we actually know who we're playing throughout the whole 8 weeks, pre-scheduled, but your decks can change. So you can actually submit a new deck each week, or if you forget to submit a new deck / purposely don't submit a new deck, you do play with your previous week's deck. And then, you battle the schedule that you've seen out, and then we take standings and records based on the end of those 8 weeks. We did probably do some updates on standings like halfway through. We're not we got a couple of to play first. I think there'll be a few rounds to play, and then we'll probably start updating people towards the middle of the tournament when it starts getting, when people start thinking about their record and how well they need to do to make the playoffs. All right, I think that's all from the two of us this evening. We hope you guys have a good time, have a good night. We hope you've enjoyed the Magic with us, and tune in again next week. We hope you get a good night's sleep and don't play late night Magic. All right. Good night, everybody. Good night, Caroline. Good night, Hayu.